I could get drunk off the lights of a city. Late night phone calls just to say you miss me, but you don't. No, you don't. Drop my phone now, that shit's broken. 2 a.m. and I'm lost in Brooklyn, missing home. I know you don't. When we were on, I'd always thought we would make it, but now you're gone. Baby, you're a ghost. I'm caught up in a landslide, mental on the low end. When I used to feel alive, now.
What's going on, Smite Draft League? Welcome back to week 4 of Sanctified versus Eclipse. I'm your chair 1, Zexous, joined again by my chair 2, Anthony.
Hello, thanks Zex for the nice introduction. Very excited today.
Very excited to see what these two teams are going to bring to the board as right into week 4, and this ban phase is going by quickly.
Yeah, it is, and we've got two Divine Division teams that are they've got a lot to work on. Sanctified on the Chaos side notably had a few postponements so far, while Eclipse has been able to play all their sets, so they definitely have some cohesion coming online.
Okay, so a lot off that, and right off the get-go, Alquang first pick. What do you go off that? It's a great pick. It's been strong for a while now, and it's no surprise to be seeing it taken first pick off our order side.
I like that here. I like how it plays for MentalDepressed style. MentalDepressed plays a lot of the hyper carry type of junglers, a lot of the Hoombots, the Thanatoses, the Alquangs of the world, and I feel like they fit his play style and what he brings to his team. I think the big thing is going to be giving, especially in the mid lane, as CaT is subbing in today for the mid lane, I'm looking to see really good cohesion come from there and something that CaT can utilize to set up for the Alquang.
So yeah, for the Alquang to really get in there and try and find those last executes to secure off those kills, to guard off the Alquang and to help him out is going to be the Athena being picked up, which very great support pick. Never really a bad choice. Global presence is always a big plus to have on your squad.
Yeah, plus, I mean, like I just mentioned, having that setup for MentalDepressed, being able to taunt in to the Alquang, always a dangerous combination. Kukulkan coming out as well.
Another Kukulkan pickup. So been a strong solo I've seen for what has to be years of what it feels like. This pick's always a great pressure pick, always a great team fight pick, really able to get in that back line and create tons of havoc, and we've seen many times before. And I wouldn't be surprised if we saw him follow suit once again. I haven't really talked about the other side, but we've seen Ishtar and Maui already locked in. How do you figure that going into the dual lane?
I think that's a huge dual lane here, going against BornToMeme and going against who I have to assume is going to be CookieNamedJoe on support. They like to fight. That's a very aggro dual lane, and having Ishtar Maui in response to that, you basically guarantee that for FullOfShrimp and King of Darkness, you're guaranteeing that you can match their pressure, if not beat their pressure, because it's kind of hard to even contest, let alone box against Ishtar Maui.
I agree with you there. And then topped off with Hades, what do you think? Is that going to be maybe like a soul lane type Hades, or is that maybe more of a mid thing? I'm not too sure if he's super strong in solo right now, if he still is.
He's okay in solo. He's seeing a bit of a surge in popularity coming from naturally, as most characters do, coming from Fine OK playing him in the solo lane. I don't think he's S tier, but I think he's good, and I think he's very matchup dependent. I do like his matchup in the Kukulkan. I feel like Hades kind of can play around what Kukulkan offers, and Pillar of Agony can be very punishing for Kukulkan trying to make use of their rage form. But with the Hell lock in here, I'm kind of thrown off and way more interested in that. Patch notes haven't come out yet.
Oh yeah, okay. So all these healing changes haven't applied yet. So this hell has I haven't seen a whole lot of hell. Before this patch, I haven't seen it been picked up that much. I know There's some players that feel super comfortable with her, and that's fine. But on top of competitively viable, I'm not entirely sure where she's at.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, it could work here, and I will say that being able to have that cleanse into Kwang and Athena, and now looks like it might be a Discordia, it is very valuable. I worry about the kind of pressure that Kwang Discordia could put on a Hell. I mean, even with the cleanse, the movement speed, like you're consistently vulnerable, which is not where you want to be against an Kwang. So it's a risky pick, and I mean, it's like this with every character, but there's a world where it pays off and a world where it blows up in their face.
Very true. I know they're hovering this Discordia right now, but I almost kind of want to see them lock it in, which they do right there. But I really like this Discordia pick. I think it offers a lot against the other team. That Hades, when that Hades goes into that ultimate, it's a standstill target for that golden apple. So I really don't hate the Discordia pick. I think it's gonna actually go pretty good, in my opinion, from what I've seen so far.
Yeah, for sure. And a lot of times you can catch a team sleeping because when Pillar of Agony gets dropped, it's kind of like when Ares goes in with no escape. Your team just sort of feels pre-programmed to jump in with you. So if you throw Apple of Discord, I mean, you're looking at an easy late game. You're looking at an easy 8 to 1100 damage confirmed on a standing still target that could easily spread. The Charybdis is the only thing that kind of throws me for a bit of a loop here.
Yeah, so I haven't seen any of Charybdis. I've tried to play Charybdis myself, and I have not been able to make this pick work. It feels
Mm-mm.
very weak right now. So I'm a little interested to see how BornToMeme is gonna pilot this out. I know BornToMeme has played this pick in the past and really likes this Charybdis. So I'm interested to see how he's gonna play the lane.
Yeah, the lane is where it's going to be tough because it's going to be difficult to go against that Ishtar. You're going to really have to utilize your Whirlpool form, get out of there, and not look to box all too much. But I think Charybdis is a bit stronger on rotational presence, so it could even out and it could work out for BornToMeme.
Okay, and with all that said and done, everything's locked in. We're going to take you into game one of Eclipse versus Sanctified.
I could get drunk off the lights of a city. Late night phone calls just to say you miss me, but you don't. No, you don't. Drop my phone now, that shit's broken. 2 a.m. and I'm lost in Brooklyn, missing home. I know you don't. When we were on, I'd always thought we would make it, but now you're gone. Baby, you're a ghost. I'm caught up in a landslide, mental on the low end. When I used to feel alive, now there's a hole in the city, can't feel shit. Where do I go? Cause I know you don't feel this. Can't catch a break for God's sakes. Feel like I'm waking up and I'm caught in the wake. Yeah, I know this is my funeral on parade. I did it to myself cause I always thought you would feel the same, and I know you don't. Drunk off the lights of a city, late night phone calls just to say you miss me, but you don't. No, you don't. Drop my phone now, that shit's broken. 2 a.m. and I'm lost in Brooklyn, missing home. I know you don't. Let's hit the brakes. I'm pulling out the parachute, jumping out the plane. You had it all in front of you, nothing feels the same. It's crazy what love can do, even crazier when it's not coming back to you. You say you need space, so I gave you all the states. Every night a different place. Used to think we're getting closer, now we're drifting away. And all I can say is that I'm feeling wasted. I could get drunk off the lights of a city. Late night phone calls just to say you miss me, but you don't. No, you don't. Drop my phone now, that shit's broken. 2 a.m. and I'm lost in Brooklyn, missing home. I know you don't. When we were always thought we would make it. Now you're gone. I could get drunk off the lights of a city. Late night phone calls just to say you miss me, but you don't. No, you don't. Drop my phone now, that shit's broken. 2 a.m. and I'm lost in Brooklyn, missing home. I know you don't. When we were on, I'd always thought we would make it. But now you're gone, baby, you're a ghost. I'm caught up in a landslide, mental on the low end. When I used to feel alive, now there's a hole in the city, can't feel shit. Where do I go? Cause I know you don't feel.
Hope you didn't miss us too much, but we are back coming in for game 1 of Eclipse and Sanctified. Once again, my name is Zexous. I am joined once again by Anthony.
Hello, thank you, and buffs are spawning in, and I'm excited.
So, looking at both these comps right there, we didn't really talk about it in picks and bans, but are you favoring one draft over the other?
Yes and no. I'm very split. If you took out the Hell, I think I'd be favoring Sanctified, but with the Hell and kind of the unknown of the Hell at the moment and the risk of playing Hell, I'm leaning Eclipse. I think the Ao Kuang, Kakula, and Athena matchup might just be a bit too much for Sanctified to handle come late game.
Okay, interesting. I'm the biggest question mark for me on Eclipse right now is this Charybdis pick. I'm not entirely sure how it's going to work out for them, and I think if it falls behind really badly early, it's just going to suffer into the late. But, I mean, eating my words a little bit and see a ton of poke coming off of King of Darkness, taking tons of poke damage early, and might be able to try and play for an early kill if they find enough pressure here.
Yeah, they could look to get aggressive with Whirlpool, maybe try to utilize that spike shot, but that's kind of the problem with Charybdis. I mean, you can get a double taunt like that, but realistically, you only have so much to offer in those fights that it kind of feels almost pointless at times to be on the Charybdis. It's very frustrating.
I agree with you there. Both junglers joining off onto the dual side of the map, but we'll retreat back into the jungle. barkyj is looking towards that extra shield buff, but is going to go towards back into the lane and not go into the lane though, just showing presence.
Yeah, this battle for shield buff has become very common and very awkward for everybody involved, I think. Sometimes we see almost too much, and now a 3v3 for it.
BornToMeme though is going to go looking for a flank opportunity, going to go right into FullOfShrimp. Tons of damage being dropped out, falling super low, but hasn't fallen quite yet. Now we're going to turn their attention towards barkyj, and barkyj is going to retreat deep towards back into his jungle. And no harm, no foul. Nobody dies. Everyone gets to live. I didn't see who got the buff right there, but...
MentalDepressed ended up picking it up, so I think Big Minion at least went for Eclipse, but now Reyhum may be a bit of danger.
Yeah, it does get sniffed out. MentalDepressed is going to come on the back. Very low is Reyhum. One more out to do it. Gets the heal off. Stun is good, and kill is even better. MentalDepressed claiming first blood on Reyhum, but barkyj onto the backhand is going to claim up CaT for himself and is going to retreat back into that mid lane, making it a very nice 1-for-1.
Yeah, that was a nice response from barkyj. Would have been very easy to kind of say, oh, this situation's chalked and walk away, but going in there, helping secure the kill, at least it's a 1-for-1. You don't get the first blood bounty, but you don't walk away empty-handed.
Yeah, very much. At least you're getting that, even though first blood goes down, you're still able to get the response back and is going to have a really nice sum of gold when he does get to back and finish off an item.
And what was interesting there, too, is we saw that poke-wise, they were fairly even in mid, which is what set up the gank for MentalDepressed and Reyhum. And I'm very surprised that Hell hadn't already completely poked out Discordia and made that gank a non-option. Because first couple levels, that's a weird matchup.
Yeah, it definitely kind of feels weird. The whole mid matchup currently with Discordia against Hell just feels like a very weird matchup. Just all in all, just like not even looking at what's meta and what isn't, it's a lane you don't see very often.
Yeah, and it's a weird one for sure. I think Hell can get the advantage, obviously, up close, but the key with playing Discordia in this scenario is to really utilize the range that you have and keep that Hell from having an option to get close to you, as we just saw.
Yeah. Not able to. Oh, but here comes the ultimate coming out from Nicodrin. Gonna pull in Trollacadimy very low, but still alive. Onto the chase. Does get the little stunt out, but diving in deep is Nico. A little bit more damage dealt, but not enough to kill off Trollacademy, and will live to see another day.
Yeah, that was a risky one. Speaking of risky, Barky playing risky with the buffs. My man almost got biggest loser in the Discord, but was able to get away in plenty of time. But it's always scary, especially with the current state of minions, taking those things on when you're so low.
Definitely, you're definitely getting starting to grind the teeth a little bit there as well as it's getting close. Speaking of which, the whole lane that we weren't too sure about seemed to be on the. We thought we were going to be on the back end. Has all the pressure in the world from what it feels like coming off Eclipse.
Yeah, and a part of that is due to CookieNamedJoe kind of spending a bit of extra time there. I mean, normally at level 5, it's a pretty instant get out of my lane from the ADC, but Joe's still here just now leaving on the Athena. But that kind of was the big difference. I mean, there's not many characters in this game that could handle that 1v2, aside from, a couple mage ADCs, realistically. Plus, assuming that CookieNamedJoe was maxing the taunt, if FullOfShrimp even tried to walk into the wave, could have instantly been killed anyway. So there was nothing to gain.
Yeah, very much true. MentalDepressed finds Barky and a little bit of damage exchange from both sides to either or, and is going to group back up on that shield camp with the rest of Sanctified, and should drop no problem. The King of Darkness sniffs out. MentalDepressed doesn't secure the buff though, and gets taunted back in. BarkyJ, a little bit of trouble, but nothing after, so we'll just get to retreat safely back under tower.
Yeah, and that was the taunt max I was just talking about. You saw that taunt took a bit of extra time. It was certainly not the the 1 second taunt at level 1. And combining with that Sundering Spear, you have to respect this Athena, especially early on here, because the amount of damage that can be done, no matter how early, when you have the combination of that 2 second taunt with getting sundered. I mean, you can't really survive that.
Yeah, definitely not. And as we're seeing a lot of these first items finally starting to get finished off here, both supports have went the prophetic cloak start now. Is this the best support start in your eyes, or?
It was at first. I haven't been as big of a fan of it lately. It kind of feels like Benevolence has fallen off a bit, mostly because Heroism has seen a couple nerfs, and we're seeing it get a bigger nerf in the next patch, so I expect it to be completely gone. But I think Sentinel's Boon, which is the, if you want to go off colors, it's the orange upgrade of Sentinel's starter. I like what that offers a bit more. You get the % health and mana regen on assists. You get the bonus gold if you're the lowest in the team. So I think Benevolence is nice, but Sentinel's a bit better.
Definitely. CookieNamedJoe taking a ton of damage in mid off the hands of Reyhum and King of Darkness, so that's going to force him back a little bit. Looking towards Duo's side. A little bit of poke in between both waves, and it's like BornToMeme is going to get a little extra damage. On top of that, towards Soul, though, we're going to see a little bit of a gank opportunity towards Nico, but we'll get to also go back under tower, safe and sound. That's going to be all there is for that.
That's going to be huge here. Every time MentalDepressed shows on this map and goes for those ganks, if you can just walk away and waste the Ao Kuang's time and be able to utilize your Lancelot going other places and splitting that pressure, it's going to be gigantic. I mean, Ao Kuang is incredibly strong, and the damage will be there, especially with Mental going book, but if you can avoid that execute mattering, oh no, BarkyJ finds a kill on CookieNamedJoe.
Going on Joe, but let's see if BornToMeme can maybe follow suit. One more, I do it. One more will. FullOfShrimp goes down. Very nice solo kill for BornToMeme. Apple comes off from Cat. Is going to find a few shots, but heal will be good and is going to keep everyone nice and healthy for now. And where do you even start?
Yeah, that was a wild one. The solo kill is big for BornToMeme. We talked about the Charybdis being kind of a questionable selection, but the further ahead that BornToMeme can get on FullOfShrimp, then the character difference doesn't matter whatsoever because Charybdis will just keep boxing, utilize that Maw. Whirlpool, though, going to try to get out of some danger here.
Whirlpool does get into danger, but it's going to be on the chase down from Reyhum. A cookie named Joe does answer the call with Defender of Olympus, and we're going to go right into a pause.
I could get drunk off the lights of a city. Late night phone calls just to say you miss me, but you don't. No, you don't. Drop my phone now, that shit's broken. 2 a.m. and I'm lost in Brooklyn, missing home. I know you don't. When we were on, I'd always thought we would make
And Nico has rejoined us back into the game, so we are back and ready to go. So almost 10 minutes in, what who would you want to give the advantage to so far from what we've seen so in the match so far, Anthony?
It's been shockingly even. I mean, gold and kills are not that far apart. The gold difference barely favors Eclipse, but in terms of map feel, I'm going to give the feel of it to Sanctified. I feel like they're using their jungle presence a little bit more, and it's causing mid lane to have to be very respected. And we've seen the pressure in solo not amount to much. But what keeps Eclipse in this game for me so far is BornToMeme getting the better of FullOfShrimp, despite being a character that you and I were both concerned about. So being able to pull that off makes Eclipse look a little better. So I'm leaning the way of Sanctified, but Eclipse is right there.
Yeah, so one of my biggest things is for Eclipse was how is this Charybdis going to be, and how strong will it be able to transfer from the early to the mid to the late without falling super far behind. BornToMeme is actually ahead right now, so that worry for me seems to be just gone at the moment. And you know, when Charybdis gets late game, she's going to be really swinging. She's one of those strong late game ADCs that's just can feel hard to lock down as well, with so many escape opportunities too. So I don't know, I kind of want to give the edge to Eclipse right now.
Yeah, I mean, build-wise, having that Rage online already on top of the Yasi, got the levels going on with your abilities. I think BornToMeme can try to look to keep forcing these engagements. And if you can bait FullOfShrimp into either pushing up or even for some reason taking the 1v1, it's basically an instant kill right now. So either utilize that pressure or look to rotate out.
Definitely. CubeDaFace might be in trouble, though. Does get pulled in by King of Darkness. Apple comes out from CaT, but does not find the target. So that will be that. But we'll see Eclipse look towards the Gold Fury. Gets pulled. Sanctified is aware of what's going on. Let's just see. They're going to go on. Here it comes with Landfall. Finds up 2. And Eclipse is going to be the team that secures it. But Sanctified has decided, go, go, go. Here comes barkyj on the horse, going right off CaT. But CaT seems to be getting out. No problem at all. BornToMeme also draws the Maw. Hungers is going to look for some, but sends out 2, but the chase still continues on to Eclipse. Back up, going in, the barkyj is going to do tons of damage on BornToMeme. BornToMeme falling extremely low, but still isn't dead yet, and CaT cleans up King of Darkness. He's still alive. MentalDepressed claims up barkyj, and that's 2 for Eclipse, plus the Gold Fury.
I'm completely in shock that Eclipse turned that around. For a second, I was worried they were splitting their attention too much. CookieNamedJoe went in, and the peel went from emergency evacuate peel to, oh, wait, guys, I just taunted 3. But Eclipse was able to turn it around. Nice ability from there from CaT, utilizing the Unruly Magic, and it worked out great for Eclipse.
It worked out great, and that's all you could really say on the chase out as well was Nico. So does get the blue steal, though, so we'll have a little bit plus side there. Something I did see, I am a little curious to hear what your input is on this, is the first item Chronos Pendant coming off of CaT on this.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh,
MentalDepressed has been slain by a centaur. You hate to see it.
Yeah, you don't like to see that one.
You know, we saw
wow.
barkyj earlier come real close, but MentalDepressed actually did get killed by it, so that is tough. A little bit of 1v1 going in duel right now. Here come those blades
Nice
of retribution, but will not find them. Onto the back is King of Darkness. Now sneaks up BornToMeme. And now all going onto the aggressive. The Sun will be good. And worse just comes worse. Reyhum comes from downtown and takes out BornToMeme.
That was a perfect rotation, and finally somebody punished BornToMeme for all the aggression in the dual lane. To answer your question, I like the Chronos pendant. I mean, obviously, Book of Thoth, Tablet of Destinies is what we're used to seeing this season, but we have to keep in mind that Eclipse, not only does Eclipse have a coach Dracul, but Dracul coaches CaT. So when you see a build that's not entirely out of nowhere, just slightly unique, you have to assume it was part of a plan. I think the plan here was play it safe, build free damage that doesn't require you having to push up and wave, and look to sit back, cast your abilities with ridiculous cooldowns, and try to get your damage across that way.
Yeah, and I definitely don't hate that playstyle either, considering that Discordia is the god she's piloting. So, a god that likes to stay at the back and just kind of chill and cast from afar is a very Discordia thing. So, I like the idea. I think it's a decent build path for the character.
Another thing I'm kind of looking at and seeing is... Actually, I'm going to have to hang on because we've got a big gank at dual lane.
And we might see, again, they're going for the run back once again. This time, though, Joe is here. CookieNamedJoe is going to be coming in from the ultimate, and we'll just scare off the rest of Sanctified. So BornToMeme gets to live for another day.
So what I was about to talk about was something I want to see is we haven't seen too many team fights that directly involved MentalDepressed. But at the same time, MentalDepressed is currently behind by about a level and a half and has not finished Book of Thoth stacks. So I'm kind of looking to see Eclipse work together to try to make sure that MentalDepressed can keep up and farm and get those stacks online, because the last thing you need is your Ao Kuang being too far behind.
Yeah, especially you never want to see one of those Book of Thoth stacks like taking like almost 30 minutes to get done. But barkyj sticks around, Duo finally gets the ultimate in and takes care of BornToMeme. That's another one down for the Charybdis.
I mean, we're seeing a real-time strategy change here from Sanctified. Blinking for MentalDepressed, looking for barkyj. Can he find the kill?
He's going to look for one more hit. Will get the shot, but won't find any more damage, unfortunately, on top of that. Gets joined up by FullOfShrimp.
Uh-oh.
And now he's stuck between a rock and a hard place and gets absolutely melted by Reyhum.
Oh, this could turn into an Oni Fury.
Oh,
there's not a lot around to contest.
So it does. Only a CookieNamedJoe is here to answer the call for now, but CaT does sniff it out. Let's see if she can get there in time. Lower than half now, but is still 4 strong on the gold field.
Oh.
Here comes CaT, and
They got it!
Cliff steals it off and goes down. Now they're on the chase out as 4 from Sanctified are looking to try and find something in retribution, but will find nothing. Wow.
They made that work, and they really had to. We saw dual lane getting pressured and pressured again and again and again. And if the dual lane pressure had turned into an Oni Fury, that would have been a pretty disastrous place for Eclipse. But that steal basically resets what you've lost recently and starts to put you back on the right track. Now you just got to get the XP into jungle, get a little bit to mid, and you're completely back in the game.
Definitely. It's absolutely massive to get that steal. You absolutely needed that at that point, and you know, it was great to be able to watch CaT and also Joe come in clutch to be able to secure that off for the team. And you know, you see it once again, and BornToMeme hard pressuring Duo once again. And I'm interested to see if Sanctified will try and, after this Pyro juggle, try and go back to Duo to try and kill BornToMeme once again.
We're seeing a bit of a group up around Pyromancer, which, before this fight breaks out, I just want to say, not the biggest fan of this grouping. I keep harping on wanting to see Eclipse break out at farm, and it feels like this is a kind of an unnecessary fight to force. I'd like to see them maybe just be certain, like once you find out for certain there's no opportunity, just walk away, go farm. It's not worth dancing around Pyromancer forever.
Yeah, I agree. Especially when, you know, you're wasting so much time in a fight that might not happen when, as you were saying, yeah, they just could be farming and preparing for later stages of the game.
Player damage-wise, I mean, BornToMeme has been pressured out for the last 5 minutes and is still at the top, so once Charybdis starts rotating, could be helpful.
Definitely, and I even say, like, at the top considerably enough, having, you know, a whole almost 2k damage ahead of Trollacademy, but fight breaking out towards Fire Giant. Apple does find a target and is going to force a retreat off of Mayhem and Nico, so we'll have to heal up into the backline before taking another one. But Pyromancer gets picked up by MentalDepressed, and the rest of Eclipse do follow suit. Trollacademy playing guard duty, but Ultimate goes in. Landfall, that's a 3-man coming right towards Sanctified. Taunt comes in from ACookieNamedJoe, and it looks like Sanctified might be the ones in trouble. Reyhum on the retreat, but Reyhum is stuck. It gets put up by MentalDepressed, but does not find an execute. Instead, CaT will finally get the final blow. Ultimate coming out from Nico, picks up CaT. And now, turning back on ACookieNamedJoe is in trouble. Double kill for 2 different players, make it 1 more for barkyj. That's a deicide on the side of Eclipse, and that's going to be a full reset by Sanctified.
That fight completely fell apart for Eclipse. There's not really another way to look at it. As soon as Nico walked in the back and dropped that Pillar of Agony, going that borderline full damage build just now, considering some defense, I mean, there was no getting out at that point for Eclipse, and everything fell apart from the inside out there.
Yeah, a lot of damage, a lot of healing, and yeah, a little bit of defense goes a long way for Nico Drin as he just completely melts all of Eclipse. And now that they're picking up this Fire Giant for Sanctified, and none of Eclipse have shown so far, so might be optimal like that.
Yeah, they're taking a bit long though. They got to speed this up.
Definitely 3 strong. There's going to go the Apple, gets launched off by CaT, is going to claim up King of Darkness. Into the back is Nico Drin's going to claim up CaT. And then Reyhum taking out ACookieNamedJoe might be enough to get the Sanctified off of it. Eclipse goes back on it, and Eclipse takes it away. Again. They did it again. That is 2 big objectives stripped away from Sanctified, and now Sanctified are the ones running away.
Sanctified's got to go into a full retreat here in Eclipse. Still looks like they're hungry, might look for an opportunity in mid, but another huge objective steal coming from Eclipse, and that time after they lost CaT and Joe, still somehow managing to make it happen.
Managing still to strip away the Fire Giant. Just completely massive. Another big steal coming from Eclipse as all the players are looking to return back, and it looks like Sanctified might do some grouping around this Primal Fury. Might be looking for Born or looking to pick it up. Looks like they do opt to pick up the Gold Fury, and BornToMeme is here as a few others.
They're gonna do it again, aren't they?
This could go back again.
Oh my god!
Does it again! Call it a 3-peat, baby! Landfall does not claim anybody, and Eclipse just gets to walk away for free.
That has to be so frustrating for Sanctified. The gold lead to the kill lead tells the exact story that we've been seeing. I mean, look at the experience to the gold. Eclipse just does not let them take objectives. For whatever reason, Sanctified just cannot lock down the secure. And their secure isn't great, but it shouldn't be this horrendous.
Yeah, especially with the lead they were playing with, the whole 13-5 kill differential before objectives were getting stripped away and stolen. There was quite a little bit of a lead being pushed by Sanctified, but now it just doesn't matter with all the objective steals. And now Shrimp taking a 1v1 against BornToMeme and won't even stand a chance as BornToMeme just completely obliterates Shrimp. And
just too much in the build there.
Yeah. This Charybdis has a full rage, now has Kins finished off, and now going into a little bit more crit. You're not going to be surviving too long against that.
Not at all. MentalDepressed now finds 2 members, but does have backup behind him, so Sanctified has to walk away. And look at Charybdis being cheeky, getting the tier 2, unless Teleport stops it.
And Teleport, not good enough, though. T2 falls very easily to this,
gold lead, I guess.
Charybdis. Yeah, it's all money in the bank, baby, and that's where they're going to be taking it. Some more items are going to be pulled off, finishing off that Deathbringer now, and Pyromancer is being looked at by Eclipse, and they pick up the bomb. And they even got the bomb.
We saw that not happen once this game, and it was frustrating, but thankfully not again. But Eclipse is just dominating the map right now. I mean, Sanctified's got 7 kills, but look at the gold. It's getting ridiculous. It looks like their kills should be swapped.
Yeah, almost 6k up at this point. Looking pretty looking pretty tough for Sanctified, knowing that you pretty much had the game locked on the right side of the map, and then 3 objectives stolen later, and now you're scratching your head thinking, what the heck was that?
And it's gonna burn into the mental. I mean, for the rest of this game, whenever Sanctified is on an objective, I would expect to see them not even consider a 50-50 for the rest of the game. And another 1v1, I don't like the odds here.
Gets the slowed up by Shrimp. Blades of Retribution comes out, but won't be good enough. Into the whirlpool, into the Maw hungers, and the Maw shall be fed. Another kill coming up for BornToMeme on this Charybdis. Call it 3-3-3, baby.
Yeah, you just at this point, if you're full shrimp, you kind of got to just sit at Phoenix and look to get your farm even safer than you were before. You can't afford to keep getting picked off. I mean, the gold isn't worth it at this point too much for Eclipse, but what it does is it gets rid of Sanctified's ADC. And with Fire Giant on the map currently, and Eclipse having map control, you can't afford to be without your ADC.
Yeah, and that's just so much damage you're losing out on without FullOfShrimp there. And unfortunately, with him down, Fire Giant does get picked up by Eclipse. Trollacademy doing his part, trying to keep them all at bay. A very nice double knock-up into the backline off this Kakulin. Landfall picks up BornToMeme. Apple gonna take down King of Darkness by right into the backline. Trollacademy and MentalDepressed are just putting in work. Now Nico in the back. Sunder's good. Pillar of Agony does go. Eclipse does capture up the Fire Giant as well. BornToMeme claims up Nico. And that's 3 down on the side of Sanctified. The 5 still for Eclipse with the Fire Giant to boot. I like the odds of Eclipse in this one.
And look at Eclipse grouping up to push out this solo lane. Gonna look for this tier 2 tower. I love to see that. I mean, not every Divine team has a coach, and Divine certainly, by title, sure, it's our lowest division. By skill, it is not that low of talent, and it's being shown here. I mean, this is clean and precise play. They're gonna look for the Phoenix now too, and they should be able to get it.
Yeah, I mean, it's looking good. This is kind of almost textbook on how to play behind. And Shrimp goes for the jump on Trollacademy, finds himself a little bit out of position, but finds himself safe. King of Darkness is going to get the jump out, so we'll be safe. But Blink coming in from barkyj. Ultimate also used, is on the hunt for BornToMeme. The Maw hungers, but the Maw ain't having anything to eat as he goes down. Trollacademy claims up back barkyj, and a massive apple coming out puts him in execute range. MentalDepressed is just sitting, chilling, and waiting. Doesn't unfortunately get it, but does get them to back up into the Titan room. And is going to be on the retreat by the looks of it. Trollacademy, though, still wants something now on the retreat, as does get pinned out, and now 3-4 now on the chase for this Kakulin, and Trollacademy is finally going to get stuck out. One more how to do it, one more would be good. Reyhum secures the kill on the Trollacademy.
Yeah, I think Eclipse overplayed their hand a little bit there. I mean, I could see why they stayed. It probably felt like there was an opportunity there, but as soon as Sanctified was able to get so close to their fountain, that should have been an instant call for the tier 2. It being delayed could cause even more trouble now.
Yeah, definitely. And now Cookie's in trouble. Man. Double landfall in the Pillar of Agony. That's Cookie Joe gets out, but CaT unfortunately can't say the same. Reyhum gets the kill on that. Aegis being forced out also by Reyhum. By BornToMeme. Lots of damage coming out, so they're going to have to be a little bit wary of that Charybdis. But right back in. Nico cancels, but then it gets it back in. Luckily, didn't get that taken away from him, and BornToMeme still gets to live.
Yeah, without that whirlpool, there would not have been a chance there whatsoever. That was close. You know, Sanctified feels so dominant in this game, but I don't feel confident whatsoever in counting on Eclipse, because they got one Fire Giant and they were clean enough to take a Phoenix. They don't let the objectives... I mean, look at this. Sanctified just almost killed everybody, and Nico still has to poke around as if the big bad wolf's going to come around the corner.
I think at that point, it's Eclipse that have now initiated that fear into the eyes of Sanctified, that someone could always be around that corner waiting to steal. And I almost think, you know, it's not exactly... It's pretty valid after losing three different objectives to steals, so I totally understand where they're coming from.
The only thing I'm seeing build-wise as we get pretty late here that I'm not huge on is we did see that BornToMeme went the Demon Blade Kingfisher, just in case you're listening, not Wind Demon. But he went the Demon Blade as opposed to the Executioner, upgraded that Death's Toll. When I don't get Executioner, it's rare because I value it so highly. Personally, you can feel that Executioner is not in your build. So now that we're in this phase of the game and everyone's doing even damage, I actually am kind of leaning Ishtar here as Dominance will come online to be doing more damage than the Charybdis.
That's true, though. On the other side of the coin, though, FullOfShrimp still does not have that that upgraded Death Toll yet, so we'll be missing out quite a bit on that. Whereas BornToMeme has pretty much all, well, has every slot filled up, so a little bit on that. Trollacademy getting chased out, though, does force out the ultimate, but Pillar of Agony will be set to fall through. Landfall will be good, and Reyhum cleans it up for the hell. Another one going down as barkyj in the back is getting completely torched by BornToMeme. BornToMeme just going completely off the maw hungers, but isn't going to be able to claim. Does force out one shell, and still barkyj is looking to claim up BornToMeme, and double kill for the Lancelot. That's 3 down right now for Eclipse, and they're going to start tower hunting maybe. Oh, looks like they're going to actually play it back, play it safe, and just retreat.
It feels like Eclipse's weakness this game is finally been revealed to Sanctified, and that is if you can separate them at all, if you can get them to not fight as a 5-person team, you instantly have an even more staggering advantage than you normally would, because Kakolin is such a crazy frontline from them, especially with Trollacademy playing, and CookieNamedJoe is putting in work in the Athena. If you can get them separated, if you can break them down, even one off, then the 4v5 is just not a possibility for Eclipse.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think that they've done a good job of figuring out that that's their win con. As Fire Giant does get picked up, but everyone does walk out of the room in trouble. Sanctified.
Oh, the apple!
Big apple coming up from CaT! Just one in the dirt, but Nico on the response for MentalDepressed. Right in the back is being chased off, and Trollacademy claims one. barkyj on the split too will claim up another of his own, and now it's 2 gone from each squad. Now getting right back in from Nico, jumping into Trollacademy, but now BornToMeme, it looks like, is to be the target. Goes into the whirlpool, gonna go right after Reyhum, but Pillar of Agony is gonna capture BornToMeme. Has to use the Beats Aegis, but won't be able to survive the damage of barkyj, as NicoDren also claims up a CookieNamedJoe, and going in Trollacademy trying to look for a 1v3. Gets hit up, but is going to force barkyj to leave him alone. Now has to get through NicoDren. Sees goes back. One more to do it, but one more won't be good enough. NicoDren finally secures up Trollacademy, and that's all there's going to be right there, as everyone's going to have to return the base off that.
And there it was again. Sanctified essentially just can sit and wait for an opportunity of Eclipse breaking their group, and as soon as they did there, and we saw the great apple from CaT, but then she got caught alone. Then barkyj was able to chase down that kill. And as soon as that pressure is split, Eclipse just falls apart. They have to fight as a 5v5, because clearly, as a 5v5, BornToMeme's able to free cast, CaT can throw out the apple and do numbers, but as soon as there's just one gone, it feels like a completely different team essence.
Definitely agree with you there. And once again, Sanctified going to be rolling the dice, trying again on this Fire Giant. Sneaks up MentalDepressed. There goes the Defender of Olympus as well for Joe. So Joe will be around. Unfortunately, won't have that surprise attack when he gets to go in, but does sniff out Sanctified. 50% gone off that Fire Giant, and just Joe is around. Finally see
BornToMeme's going to win the 1v1.
BornToMeme takes out barkyj in the dual lane, so he'll be down. Once again, good apple comes out. We'll find him very low on the Fire Giant. One more to do it. Sanctified finally grabbed the Fire Giant. NicoDren gets one of his own, and now is going to be looking at a CookieNamedJoe in trouble. Reyhum very low behind NicoDren, trying to just heal up as much as he can. Channels the back. Now here comes that Oni Fury getting picked up by BornToMeme as well. So a very nice play made by the Charybdis on the left side of the map.
Yeah, that Charybdis is the big thing right now for Eclipse. It's keeping them completely in the game. But I don't know. I still, part of me almost wishes as soon as that 1v1 was over, I know the Oni Fury was important. I think there's also a world where BornToMeme could show up to that fight late. There could be a lot of work done. But what I'm looking for, getting rid of all of that. From this point forward, I want to see Eclipse group up as 5, and basically their mindset needs to be, we live and we die for BornToMeme, and you give the Charybdis as much of an opportunity to deal out the damage as you possibly can, and nothing else matters.
I agree. I think they have to play that protect the president mindset, where they have to acknowledge that BornToMeme is pretty much the win con here, is going to be able to shred pretty much everything out of everyone at this point, as we've seen before. And I think that's kind of what they need to try and recognize and try and play around that. As you know, Kat's been doing great. She has been putting out damage. The apples, we've seen a few clutch apples come out from this Discordia.
For sure.
But I think that BornToMeme is the one that's gonna get more bang for your buck.
I mean, you can see that in the player damage too, right? Like, it's Charybdis at the top. You've got Trollacademy, Cosmic Warrior somewhere talking about Mickey damage in the solo lane, but then you see spread damage between Sanctified. So Sanctified needs their team, and their team deals out damage. Eclipse steals the objectives, controls the team fights, and lets BornToMeme kill everybody. Like you said, your win condition is written clearly in front of you. Now it's time to play around that win condition and look for Cookie and Trollacademy just to wreak havoc. Let Cat get a good apple in there, and you work from there out.
Yeah, and I agree with you there. T2 in mid does get dropped by Sanctified. Might just follow up to the right lane, solo lane, to maybe train. Look at that T2 over there as well. As you see a back coming up from Nico Drin, but the rest is Sanctified going 4 strong. We'll look for this T2 on the right-hand side.
It's going to be a questionable tier 2 defense. I hope they just let this go and defend the Phoenixes. I think you have the capability of doing it, so there's no reason to die for tier 2, and that is what they're going to do.
And not a bad decision at all on top of that. As, yeah, they're going to group back up towards their side of the jungle. And I think the name of the game for them is maybe just wait for fire to spawn again, take it one more time, and go for one last push.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I think Sanctified also at this point, I mean, we've been talking about the win condition. It isn't like Sanctified doesn't know that too. So I'd look for Sanctified's game plan to basically be, all right, let's create an opening for barkyj to just go in and delete BornToMeme, and then we win the game. If I was on Sanctified, that's what I would be saying in the comms. And, you know, every game has that situation, right? I mean, in Godlike, it's basically any team that goes against Dark Omen, their win condition is, all right, we kill Rat Milk, we win, right? So Sanctified has to find that mindset. The problem will be, can Sanctified get through CookieNamedJoe and Trollacademy to make it happen?
Yeah, and that's the big question, with both Trollacademy and Cookie being very strong on supporting the backline, but also running it down on the front line. And that's kind of been a big difference maker. Is Trollacademy has been able to get into the backline of Sanctified and be able to just wreak havoc on Shrimp and Reyhum. So if they're able to keep them both healthy, as well as, you know, find that pick on BornToMeme, I think the sky's the limit for Sanctified.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with you. I think this Fire Giant, I mean, it's easy to say, this will be the Fire Giant that decides it, without a doubt. And I'm looking for Sanctified to start the fight here, and it looks like they are.
So Sanctified does start the fight. In trouble, though, is Cat. Gonna get picked up by barkyj. Landfall into Pillar of Agony. That's 2 for Reyhum. And now on the back is Eclipse. They gotta try and get out of there, but Trollacademy gets picked up. barkyj's got a double of his own, and that's 4 down very quickly for Sanctified. And now they're really just able to run it down, and they're going to look towards this right-hand side Phoenix, as they're just going to walk in.
We mentioned the win condition, right? And they met the win condition that we set for them.
And yeah, they did it rightfully so, and now they got 5 strong going into the Titan room, and the only one to defend is a CookieNamedJoe. Not for long, as he gets picked up And that's going to be game as game one. We'll be headed to Sanctified's direction. We're going to break it down on the desk. See.
I could get drunk off the lights of a city. Late night phone calls just to say you miss me, but you don't. No, you don't. Drop my phone now, that shit's broken. 2 a.m. and I'm lost in Brooklyn, missing home. I know you don't. When we were on, I'd always thought we would make it. But now you're gone.
Alrighty, so game one of Eclipse versus Sanctified. The story here is Eclipse stole 3 objectives, and Sanctified had to spend a good chunk of the game trying to bring back all the XP and gold they lost from a lot of those steals. And then once they found their footing again, they were able to bring it home. And as far as I'd say that's a pretty good recap of what we just saw. Thoughts, Anthony?
Yeah, it was an interesting game in the aspect of Eclipse controlled every objective and Sanctified controlled every fight. But I think normally we say if I'm on the team, but if I'm Dracul, if I'm coach, if I'm shot caller for Divine Eclipse, I think my big takeaway is BornToMeme went crazy on Charybdis. Katt's apples were on point. Our front line is strong, and Mental didn't look incredibly comfortable going in and trying to be a playmaker on Al Kwang, which we've seen MentalDepressed do on characters like Ahibo, Thanatos, even Ganesh jungle. So honestly, my game plan if I'm Eclipse for game 2, probably change up the jungle role and just make sure that BornToMeme gets another hyper carry. And if I'm Sanctified, realistically, you can run the same thing back, just maybe get some objective secure for on board for Reyhum, and you should be okay.
Yeah, because like the Hell looked great on Reyhum. Reyhum, I thought, played the Hell pretty well. I think that was the big thing they were missing, was that objective secure. You know, they had tons of stalemating fights with a lot of the healing that team was able to generate. But I think that was the big thing that really separated this game for them, was the lack of objective secure. And I would think that maybe they look to address that from game 2, because losing 3 objectives like that in a row is a pretty tough look, in my opinion. I feel like they're going to want to try and limit that in game 2.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess that'll be the questions we're looking to see answered in game number 2. So Zex and I will be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Down, cursing at the street signs, when every road could lead me back to the memories that we once had. Yeah, tell me how this so easily falls apart, 'cause damn, you still fucking have my heart, and all I have is another of your cigarettes lit, but not a single fuck left to give. I could explode, I feel like gasoline when you're mad at me. Lit a match in the wind, so I'm asking please. I try to cope, go through the motions, no, I got a noose around my throat. Fuck, I love you, but I know that I should let you go. Situations got me pressed and I'm on overload. So another of your cigarettes out. Fuck, I always feel so burned out. I never smoked before I met you. Now I chain smoke the way.
Alright, we are back in for game 2 of Eclipse versus Sanctified in the Divine Division for week 4. Once again, my name is Zexous, and I am joined by Anthony.
Hello. We've got a Mercury and a Merlin band, so we don't like Eminem.
Definitely not. We definitely saw both these bands in game 1, so they're not that shocking to see them revisited here by both teams. Agony Band as well. I believe we saw that as well in game 1. So a lot of these teams, both these teams, I think, are banning away what they pretty much just don't want to see, what is super strong, and they're not really too worried about the target bans from game one.
Yeah, I think it's more just ban what you don't want to play against because, like, I mean, what is Sanctified gonna do? Are you gonna ban Charybdis? That's gonna feel like a borderline waste. And if you're Eclipse, you the big thing for you is you need to team fight better. The Hades ban I can get behind for sure, but the big thing is you need to team fight better and you need to continue making use of your map presence and your map control.
Mm-hmm. But like you were saying before, I'm definitely on board with you here with Eclipse. I think they need to reassess the jungle pick. I don't think the Ao Kuang worked the way they wanted it to, so I definitely think they need to draft something a little bit, maybe more something. Well, definitely something more MentalDepressed is comfortable on. And honestly, this is the pick. I think this is it. He's a strong Najah player. I've seen Mental play this before, and I know he's super comfortable on it. So I think this is going to be a great pickup for him.
I agree tenfold. I mean, the Neja here, even because granted, I have not seen MentalDepressed play Neja, but your recommendation, even aside, like just the character itself could prove to play so useful. I mean, if you look at MentalDepressed positioning in game number one on the Ao Kuang, he was in one of two places. He was either poked out and retreating, or got caught out trying to initiate the fight. You do that on an Asia, and suddenly the fight's already turned for your team. You take them up in Windfire Wheels, and you buy yourself the time. You can use a sash to reposition. You've got ring bounce to kind of control those awkward team fights that we saw have. This is a fantastic pick.
It's actually a bait. It's actually Ganesha jungle and Najah support.
I wouldn't even be surprised. I mean, hey,
But
MentalDepressed said himself he does it for the content. So
I'm always down for the content.
yeah, back
But
against the wall, break out the content picks.
you got to do it, you know. Yeah, you're in a set. You drop game one. You think I need the Ganesha.
I like the
Okay.
Kepri coming out, especially because you saw that Ao Kuang was not locked in. You already see the Guan Yu, you see the Ganesh. So at this point, picking up something like an Achilles, Thanatos, Ao Kuang, like everything is awkward to select. So the Kepri is so safe here, and that's without having to use any of your bands. That's a really nice spot to be in to get a Kepri.
Yeah. I also don't hate the idea to take away the Cucullin. I know it's from Eclipse taking away, but definitely I guess they're planning on taking something else. Oh, well, I guess the Guan Yu, so they don't want the Cucullin for the healing reduction here. That
Yeah.
makes sense.
Oh, the Persephone Yu Huang matchup. That is a totally different vibe than we saw game one. I don't know if Yu Huang really fixes the lack of objective secure. It certainly helps. But the Persephone, I mean, if sitting in the back and casting safely was their strategy for CAD in game one, you can do that even better on a Persephone.
Yeah, I agree. And I think this is right up the alley of what they were looking for. If the plan with Cat is to just let her kind of vibe in mid and cast from afar, you know, Discordia and Persephone are two great picks that are right up her alley to do that. And I'm a big stan on this pick. I like it, as well as on the other side, Thor is being looked at for. I can only assume that's going to be Thor solo.
Yeah, I would be surprised if they took barkyj off of the Lancelot. That was a very strong game number one on the Lancelot. Looked like he was playing way above Divine Division, certainly. And I think the Thor being in solo here, Nico was going crazy on the Hades. Obviously, that was banned away. I think Thor can offer the same thing we saw Nico doing, going around the back, being the initiator, kind of just creating havoc for Eclipse. I think all of those things could happen with Nico on the Thor.
I agree, and with it locked in, I can only assume that that's what it is. We saw the last two bans coming from Sanctified were Kurinos and Rama, so definitely looking at ADCs to take away from BornToMeme.
Yeah, left the Charybdis up. I mean, they can definitely handle the Charybdis with their team comp, but it's interesting that they focus at the hyper carries like we were talking about. took away Ishtar, but left the character that gave them grief. I mean, like I said, there's no world where you ban Charybdis. It's just an interesting approach that they took, kind of banning around it.
Hmm. I have to agree with you there. I'm just interested to see if he's gonna go back to the Charybdis or if we're gonna see something different.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be a mage ADC, but a shocking amount were left open as well. So that's something to consider. But it could also be something unique. We could see like a Cupid here, something along those lines. Even a Chernobog could be good here.
Ooh, I haven't seen like really anything of Trinidad recently, and that does look like the Jing Wei is going to be hovered out here.
Ah, okay. I like that. It goes along those hyper carry vibes, and you have the rotations from utilizing the passive. I like that. The more I think about it, the more I'm sold.
Yeah, I do like this spec. It also kind of plays pretty similar to Charybdis. It's a lot of safety, and it's a lot of late game crit damage as well. So it's you're barking up the same tree or a similar tree, but not the same tree, I'd say. And I like this pick. I don't hate it.
I don't hate either of these teams. I think we're set up for a much more exciting game 2 than game 1. And in terms of objective control, I think we could see the same from Eclipse, but at least there was a better response to the issue from game 1 for Sanctified. I'm excited for game 2.
Yeah, and we won't have to be excited for much longer because we're going to take you into game 2 of Eclipse versus Sanctified.
Pull another of your cigarettes out. Fuck, I always feel so burned out. I never smoked before I met you. Now I chain smoke the way I like to kiss you. Cause I know you're with them while I'm here, staring at a red light. Stopped, windows down, cursing at the street signs. When every road could lead me back to the memories that we once had, yeah. Tell me how this so easily falls apart. Cause damn, you still fucking have my heart. And all I have is another of your cigarettes lit, but not a single fuck left to give. I could explode, I feel like gasoline when you're mad at me. Lit a match in the wind, so I'm asking please. I try to cope, go through the motions, no, I got a noose around my throat. Fuck, I love you, but I know that I should let you go. Situations got me pressed and I'm on overload. I'm on overload, so another of your cigarettes out. Fuck, I always feel so burned out. I never smoked before I met you. Now I chain smoke the way I like to kiss you. Cause I know you're with them while I'm here, staring at a red light. Stopped, windows down, cursing at the street signs. When every road could lead me back to the memories that we once had, yeah. Tell me how this so easily falls apart. Cause damn, you still fucking have my heart. Tell me how this so easily falls apart. Cause damn, you.
Alrighty, and we are back for game 2 of Eclipse and Sanctified. See if we can get a game 3 forced in. Once again, I am Zexous, joined by Anthony.
Hello, I'm excited. We're bungling Juffs. We've got a difference in team comp, and I think we have a much more competitive game 2 on the horizon.
Yeah, I'm interested in both, and barkyj has decided that does not need that yellow buff, but I think it's finally figured out that he did not pick it up, so goes back to retrieve it. As get the pause.
Yeah, a bit of an early pause coming out, so we will be right back as soon as we get this figured out.
cigarettes out. Fuck, I always feel so burned out. I never smoked before I met you. Now I chain smoke the way I like to kiss you. Cause I know you're with them while I'm here staring at.
We are back after a quick little pause there, going into it. And right off the get-go, I did notice something that we were talking about last game. Both supports were going the prophetic cloak start, but now it looks like they've changed it up and are going maybe looking at a Thebes start now.
Yeah, and like I said, I prefer that a lot, especially with Ganesh. It kind of feels counterintuitive to not go Gauntlet to Thebes. It kind of feels like you're literally made for it. Oh no, Nico falling low, dash in, and it's a solo kill for the first blood.
Getting to work early from Trollacademy is going to put the Thor down real early on that. So a very good kill coming up from Trollacademy. Now, Jungler is coming close towards dual lane, is joined up by barkyj, and MentalDepressed is around as well. But
there's that level advantage too that's really proven to be useful here for MentalDepressed. Can't even contest the shield buff without that level 3.
Yeah, it's just such a strong level to be at there, and it seems to be it's just gonna be an easy drop for Eclipse, and MentalDepressed already off to, I'd almost want to say, a stronger start here in game 2.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that, and we talked about it. He definitely didn't look the most comfortable in Okwong, and it didn't go bad. It just was, one of those things. But I think the Neja, you can already feel just by how aggressive that shield buff was played, that there's a big difference in mentality there.
Definitely. Knocked up from Joe, and as well, so gets pretty low and has to be forced to play a little bit more defensively. As looking for the abduct. Won't be having to give just yet, but now are going
spin around.
Spin around. Joe still super low. They really want this elephant, but he's not going to let them have it just yet. MentalDepressed is finally coming in, joins it, is going to look towards Sash. Will go towards FullOfShrimp. Beads will be forced to be used, and is going to push them back under that tower.
When Barky's got to pull the blue buff all the way back to defend it from the invade there on level 5 Guan Yu. But Trollacademy, Trollacademy desperately wants this Guan Yu at any opportunity, finally getting it here. And I think, honestly, we didn't even talk about it. I think Trollacademy getting this Guan Yu is a huge sign alone for Eclipse for these team fights. I mean, if the Kakulin could put in work, the Guan Yu is sure to put in even more.
Yeah, I agree. And I'd almost argue that Guan Yu is way more annoying. They have everything that a Kakulin can do. Plus, he can heal himself and allies. So I think that's the equation is going to be something you probably will not want to deal with.
No, not at all. I like how Guan Yu is going to pair, in particular, with the Jingwei. I know it sounds like an interesting combo to point out, but if you've ever played Jingwei, getting to work around everything Guan Yu offers. I mean, Jingwei thrives off having space created, and Guan Yu on that cavalry charge, not many more space-creating characters from the solo lane than a Guan Yu, and especially the way that he does it can make a crowd split open and really open up good opportunities for Jingwei to go single target damage.
Definitely. My favorite thing about the draft, actually, about Eclipse, is how much they have to work around this Jingwei. There's lots of utilities they have in their composition to really be able to confirm a lot of those knockups. You can drop it on the landing of Windfire Wheels, or off to a Sash, or even the Jingwei or the Guan Yu. But fast forward, lots of ultimates being exchanged. Windfire Wheels is going to be taking up one. Gets dropped down. barkyj on the retreat had to use the beads, and that's going to be all there is for it, as Eclipse I'd say gets the better bargain off that fight and does get the Harpies they were after.
Nice change of pace. That's exactly what we wanted to see from Eclipse, is change those team fights up. Now with this dual lane matchup, I'm really looking for FullOfShrimp to change the narrative. From K number 1, we saw quite a few solo kills, and they could be completely attributed to the difference in level and items that were online for BornToMeme. They were very close 1v1s. But if I'm FullOfShrimp, and we all know ADC mains are full of, they need their confidence. I'm looking for FullOfShrimp to try to really change the storyline here in game number 2.
Yeah, and Trollacademy forces out the cavalry charge, so we'll get a little bit of damage onto the wave and opposition, but we'll get to stay still pretty healthy. Ganking this level 7 Guan Yu is supposed to be a problem for barkyj, who is currently sitting at level 5.
Yeah, the exact opposite problem from what we saw last game. We saw that MentalDepressed fell behind. barkyj had I think it was a level and a half lead. That's changing. A lot of that, I think, we can look at the beginning of the game where we saw barkyj go for the dual lane gank at level 2, and that level 3 to level 2 difference really stacks early. I'm looking for barkyj to try to turn that around as we get closer to maybe 10 minutes and Barky starts knocking on the door at level 11 and 12. I think that's where he can make up a lot of lost ground on this Lancelot.
Yeah, I agree. Reyhum doing a little bit of damage getting this, and ItsKatt was around, but wasn't gonna do any disruption type plays there, so we'll gladly just let him have it as well. And yeah, I'm interested to see how this duo lane goes. I'm specifically talking about Shrimp, what you were saying earlier. I do want to see him try and find a little bit more pressure onto BornToMeme. There's lots of ganks to help him game 1 when he was starting to fall behind to the Charybdis, but I think now it's a whole different ball game. I think your Jingwei isn't really able to box until way longer than Charybdis, in my opinion. Dark Pillars is going to be dropped. CookieNamedJoe comes around, but FullOfShrimp gets picked up by BornToMeme. A very nice ultimate and gank coming out from a CookieNamedJoe.
Oh, MentalDepressed turned the corner and got caught. Has to bring King of Darkness in the air. Can he survive on the landing?
I don't know if he's well. He's trying to put on the juke shoes, but it won't be good enough. Reyhum is going to secure the kill off of MentalDepressed. Going back into the duel. Dragons finds tons of damage on CaT. CaT has to drop the plants as well and trying to get away. Barky into the back with the Scarab's Blessing will revive him for now. And that's going to secure off a very nice ultimate coming from King of Darkness.
That collapse there was no joke from Sanctified. They wanted that fight, and they wanted it bad. I mean, it may not have worked out incredibly well, and they didn't wipe Eclipse like they wanted to, but look at how they played that team fight. We saw Nico rotate very quickly, go for the ultimate down. We saw Barky get the preemptive Scarab's Blessing. Watch for that later in the game.
Interesting. As well, a little bit of aggression from BornToMeme on FullOfShrimp. Gets him pushed back under that tower, looking for the Whirlwind, but will not find it. A couple of those explosive bolts will land as well, and doing the work onto that last bastion. BornToMeme, once again, doing a really good job of controlling out this dual lane.
Oh, there's a Sash.
Might get picked up. Takes the 1v1 with MentalDepressed. Sash clears him out. And around the back, though, CookieNamedJoe finds him onto the horse. Unfortunately, isn't able to land him off. Sash will be good into the Windfire Wheels. One shot will do it, and that's all he'll need. MentalDepressed does pick him up and is going to find the double with the help of the Dharmic Pillars coming from a CookieNamedJoe.
There's the confidence. There's the skill we talked about on the Deja. It's showing up. It's showing up gigantic already in game number 2. Completely different feel out of the jungle compared to that Ao Kuang.
Definitely already putting tons of pressure onto the dual lane and the jungler of Sanctified. And it already feels like a completely new ball game at this point. MentalDepressed seems to be back on something super comfortable and something he's just feeling himself on, and it's already showing early on in game 2.
And we're seeing a kind of response, right? We saw last game that Sanctified, they really turned and focused on BornToMeme once that Charybdis got ahead. It feels this game like Sanctified is trying to keep FullOfShrimp in, or excuse me, the Eclipse is trying to keep FullOfShrimp out of the game. And that's a huge change because they're preemptively expecting Sanctified to focus BornToMeme. So you're already kind of showing your hand in that you're going to play around your ADC, which as MentalDepressed gets further online and does more damage, I think if Sanctified puts too much focus on BornToMeme, we could see MentalDepressed really have an opening to put in some work on this Neja.
Yeah, definitely. And the more that Neja is able to kind of free farm and kind of let him play at his own pace and really dictate a lot of these fights with that, opening sash into the Windfire wheels, you're almost going to be guaranteeing picks almost every time.
Yeah, exactly. And we haven't even mentioned how the Neja plays with the Persephone, which is such a really great combo. Not your prototypical Neja mage combination, but it's an effective one because anything that can secure that damage for Persephone just leaves you so vulnerable.
Definitely. As well, Gold Fury does get picked up by Eclipse as King of Darkness is the one that snuffs him out. There come those Blades of Retribution. Sanctified is going to clean up the Gold Fury as well. Now onto the back. Here comes the Sash. Windfire Wheels will clean it up once again. MentalDepressed finds another on FullOfShrimp. Dueling Dragons pulls back too. And Nico is going to claim up BornToMeme. Right to the back is Reyhum. CookieNamedJoe is on the back. Ultimate is going to go in from barkyj. Double stun will be good. Into the Anvil of Dawn. Trying to find the one. And Nico finds the double, cleaning up CaT. There goes the Sash. He's going to force out barkyj. Having to retreat. Trollacademy cleans up Reyhum. And then that's going to be forcing the retreat off of the rest of Sanctified.
Sanctified still just has these team fights on lock. They're so in sync. I mean, Eclipse, we do know that CaT is subbing in this set in the mid lane, but that shouldn't be enough for these team fights to kind of feel so discombobulated. I think it's more so just the way. I think it's almost less that Eclipse doesn't fight well as a team and more Sanctified is really able to surgically pick apart their opponent in the team fights and create their own perfect scenarios. The only thing that stops them tends to be the level advantages, and we've seen that with BornToMeme. So I think for Eclipse, their win condition for me is becoming clear, and it's you got to win early against Sanctified.
Yeah, I think that's the goal, to try and win these games early before Sanctified can kind of come back and get all online and completely blow you out of the water. And I think that's kind of what happened game one. We saw Eclipse, find the small lead off of all the objectives that they were stripping away, but then once Sanctified was all got online and kind of came back, it seemed like Eclipse ran out of ideas.
Yeah, and another thing that I want to point out, it looks like Sanctified's trying to set up for a Pyromancer. Looks like they want to take control potentially of the map issues that they had in game one as well, and not leave as many openings for Eclipse to kind of just freely hang out around corners to look for objective steals. So even if you're not seeing them pull the objectives, they're trying to get ahead of the issue that was CaT and CookieNamedJoe just waiting in the wings.
Definitely. And that's just it. CookieNamedJoe, a little bit of aggression off of King of Darkness is going to keep him under that tower. That T1 tower in mid is severely low, is going to get tanked up by King of Darkness, but no follow-up damage on that. Luckily, we do have that wave pushing in, so will be good there. As BornToMeme looking to get aggressive, Blades of Retribution will claim up and stun BornToMeme, but that'll be all that'll do, as FullOfShrimp does get to at least keep his tower.
Pyromancer getting pulled from Sanctified, looking to create an opportunity off of the space that they have in the time.
Here comes right into the sky that Anvil. Nico gets the wall stun off, and CaT is stuck. They're gonna have to be forced to jump away. Reyhum is gonna claim up CaT, and Dark Pillars gets dropped by CookieNamedJoe. With that, Reyhum trying to force out that Scare's Blessing, does manage to do it, but then gets stuck. Trollacademy finds one. Windfire Wheels does take him up, and MentalDepressed is gonna claim up King of Darkness. Now, onto the run is going to be Nico. Sash going to stop him in his tracks once more. Looking for a little bit more damage, but won't find it, as the teleport will be good enough to save his life.
Yeah, I think we both chuckled at seeing the Scarab's Blessing used in Dark Pillars. Oh, hang on, Pyromancer getting pulled. Can barkyj get the steal around the wall? Looking for some payback. Eclipse gets the Pyromancer. No steal for barkyj.
Just a little bit late on the trigger, but no harm, no foul. At least in the worst case, he doesn't die and gets to at least just fail missing it. But Nico decides to turn his attention to BornToMeme. BornToMeme does get the dash out, but is still going to be chased down by Nico. They really are trying to do something to this Jingle, but ultimately decides to give it up and let her walk.
So something that I think we're seeing, I was just going to mention this as we look at the charts. Last game, it was experience going towards Sanctified and gold going towards Eclipse. It's much more consistent this game. So while Eclipse is in the lead, what strikes me as the most concerning for Sanctified is that it's a strong lead in both categories, which means Eclipse is considerably more organized, and I think Sanctified was taking advantage of the lack of organization in game 1. So while it's a small thing, I think a lot of small things can equal a big issue for Sanctified.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there. They were having a little bit of struggles in game 1, but game 2 they have seemed to clear that all up now. They're definitely playing a lot more cleaner Smite now than they were, and now it's gonna be really up to Sanctified to see how they're gonna combat that. They made the executive decision to camp BornToMeme last game, and that worked out for them. And now I'm interested to see if they're gonna try and change it up again. But hold that thought as team fight goes in. Scarab's Blessing does get dropped in just to be safe, and then Trollacademy finds his way in. He is going to get pulled in by King of Darkness, goes into the cavalry charge, and is going to bolt his way right to the back line looking for Reyhum. There goes the Dharmic Pillars, and is going to capture FullOfShrimp in the corner with nowhere to go. Reyhum also gets taken down by CaT, and that's going to force back King of Darkness, but into the Anvil of Dawn is going to push back, forces out the airstrike from BornToMeme, and now Trollacademy is going to have to waltz his way back to the rest of his team, as they're now going to be taking their eyes towards that Primal Fury.
That was the best team fight I think I've seen Eclipse have almost all season. Trollacademy looking for the delay, and it works. They get the Primal Fury. I think Eclipse needs to do that a million more times.
Definitely. Trollacademy is going to be pushing out barkyj, and that's going to be all there is. They are circling around this tower. Not too sure if they want to commit to a fight here. Trollacademy just walks through and says, well, I guess that's all she wrote.
Yeah, Sanctified, I think at this point might need to reset and look to just hyper farm and get that experience laid back online. Kind of like what I said for Eclipse in game 1. But hang on, because now it looks like King of Darkness might be caught out in a bad spot.
Yeah, King of Darkness does get the knock up off of CookieNamedJoe, forces into the dueling dragons, but will not find anything else after that from Reyhum. So it's going to be a forced reset by Eclipse, and honestly, they kind of got what they were looking for. They got a few ults out of it, and no harm, no foul.
Yeah, this is a weird one to try to pinpoint issues on. I mean, I think a big one, once again, is this ADC role. 4-level lead in ADC. There's nothing you can do to compete with that. At that point, it's less about your skill as an ADC and more about, you know, being kind of just a body. So FullOfShrimp has to minimize this lead and catch up as quick as possible. Honestly, from Sanctified, I'm telling FullOfShrimp, don't come to the next 2 or 3 team fights. We'll try to 4v5 and play it safe. You need to just sit in duo lane and farm.
Yeah, I think that's all you can really do. And while he will get a ton of damage dealt out to MentalDepressed there off of Reyhum, this he's really gonna start cooking with these abilities now. The later that this Yu Huang goes is really gonna be a problem for MentalDepressed without taking too much damage once getting in there. But
we do see that Trollacademy is hanging out a lot. Trollacademy is opening up a lot of opportunities for Eclipse. The danger will come from if Sanctified's ever able to pick Trollacademy for trying to create those openings, then Eclipse will be in a much worse spot.
it's definitely going to be hard for them to really objectively pick Trollacademy with how tanky, how much damage he can do, how much mobility he possesses. It's really just tough, and every time he heals, he's also getting that passive off that regrowth.
Eclipse is just, they're letting themselves be caught in a bad spot. Now MentalDepressed going to get caught out. Winfire Will's away, but guess what? The tick damage was there. Now Nico going to look for a slam down on 3.
Looking for it. It looks like he only found 1 off the Anvil of Dawn, but it might be good enough. Here comes the Dharmic Pillars. Nico picks up CaT, and that's going to force the ultimate off of barkyj to get out of there. And now, joining the fight is BornToMeme. Going to look to try and get in there, deal tons of damage, but is going to be forced back as Sanctified regrouping in mid lane and looking to see maybe, but is joined up by BornToMeme and the cookie named Joe, but they might be stuck. Airstrike forced out by BornToMeme, so we'll get to himself under tower, but I don't think I can say the same for a cookie named Joe. Finally just barely gets under, so somehow Joe does survive and is able to get out of there. Now Trollacademy doing a great job of keeping the rest of Sanctified busy with him. So good off play by this Guan Yu that's completely just making it all happen right now. And BornToMeme is sticking around, but doesn't want to go get too close in there and is going to force to retreat off Sanctified.
Yeah, Eclipse. I think Eclipse at this point need to kind of adjust their mindset for these fights. I mean, obviously they're still looking great in a position, but I'm worried because I'm seeing a theme that Thor is being able to kind of put in a lot of work and very free of charge. And while obviously Thor isn't going full delete you damage, I mean, you can't just let Thor do whatever he wants, especially because eventually FullOfShrimp will do damage. But the more pressing issue is Reyhum is currently doing damage. So Eclipse needs to adjust, and they gotta do it fast. Blaze Retribution for the steal, not in time.
Not in time, unfortunately, so we'll go to Eclipse off of that Fury. And another objective. Once again, so I'm pretty much secured off by them. Now, MentalDepressed is around, but is getting onto the lower side, so we'll have to chill for just a bit. But goes back to the double bombs on the Naja. Oh, is holding that for future objective pushes, I can only assume. And we see the crit route going with the Deathbringer finally online.
Yeah, that's going to really help a lot. I don't know how I feel about going Rage into the Demon Blade for FullOfShrimp. I feel like if you were already behind, I mean, there obviously no Rage stacks in line. I almost wish, considering how far behind FullOfShrimp was, I kind of would have liked to see Demon Blade and almost forgo the Rage and try to get that build online a little faster to try to compete with BornToMeme being so freaking ahead.
Yeah, already level 20 on this Jingwei. That is a tough position to be in, definitely, as Trollacademy does get poked out quite a bit into the Dueling Dragons, does get pushed back. Dash will be good, though. Won't be able to continue the chase, but on the other side of the map, BornToMeme is going to work on that T2, going to go down. Derek Pillars does get dropped. MentalDepressed in trouble. MentalDepressed is dead. Nicodrin is going to clean him up, and now Trollacademy might be in trouble, getting the stun off by Shrimp, but not good enough to put him down. And
Goodbye, Phoenix.
Phoenix is being looked at by BornToMeme, and he's going to go all in for it. He's going to sacrifice himself if he has to try and take this off. But he is going to get it! barkyj perfectly gets the body block from him, and BornToMeme is dead. Moving off, Reyhum is looking for a cookie named Joe now, is going to be in trouble. King of Darkness is around, but a cookie named Joe is still alive, and he is out of there. Now Trollacademy rejoins the fight and is going to look to push Sanctified back right into the cavalry charge. Looking to land the Mayhem, does not get it. Decides instead to hop on King of Darkness. Rejoicing, relanding back on Trollacademy is 3 and 1 Guan Yu around. But this Guan Yu might be the difference maker, as Reyhum is super low and gets destroyed by Trollacademy in the 1v3. Now he's still going. Finally gets help with Joe. Joe's all healed up though, and now FullOfShrimp is stuck. Dark Pillars gets dropped. MentalDepressed picks up one of his own, and now King of Darkness is now next on the menu for some fresh lobster. Goes down, and the beetle is cooked. That is 3 down on Sanctified. That started off from a 1v3 with Trollacademy against the world.
That was wild. Eclipse really pulled that fight out of a hat. And they didn't even have BornToMeme, who we've been talking about for 2 games now as being the damage dealer for Eclipse. They didn't even have him there. It was Trollacademy, basically, who led the way in that fight. Crazy fight there for Eclipse.
That was absolutely wild. I couldn't believe I witnessed that. Trollacademy was going just hard in the paint. That's all I can really say. And now Eclipse is looking towards this Pyromancer. The Pyro will go. No big deal. And they'll reset off that. So a lot of good stuff there if you're an Eclipse fan.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. I think the big thing to note for Eclipse is how clean it feels like they're playing, and how really the only mistake we've seen in the last 15 minutes was BornToMeme dying for the Phoenix. It was probably unnecessary to die for it. I mean, granted, it was a nice play from Nico to get the kill there. It wasn't like it was an entire misplay, but I think Eclipse is just playing much cleaner and much more to the point. They're not really stutter stepping around plays, and that's been the difference maker for them. And I expect will continue to be the strength for Eclipse.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's been a lot better of a game. Yeah, for the Eclipse side. I think they've been great so far, and I'm hoping that they can continue this off as they look to push this lead even further. Trollacademy is going to reintroduce himself to Sanctified as Cavalry Charge does go in. Dark Pillars also gets dropped, followed up with Cat. And Dueling Dragons gets used defensively, so we'll have to use that to get himself out. And now King of Darkness might be stuck in front of Trollacademy. Sash going to be used, and now they're going to start looking at Nico. Does get dropped with the Scarab's Blessing, so we'll be able to get out of there. Fury does get picked up by Sanctified as well, so doing some work there as the rest of the team keeps Eclipse at bay.
Yeah, that was. Oh, they're still chasing Trollacademy. That means this fire giant. They don't know. Oh no.
They don't know that Eclipse is on fire. Then if Trollacademy is keeping the rest of them occupied, let's get hit up by Reyhum, but still is pretty safe. They're all backing at that, but
Barky's here.
barkyj knows what's up. barkyj goes in, but unfortunately barkyj does not strip it away as it does go to Eclipse. Although at least gets to keep his life, doesn't get completely dogpiled, so we'll be able to just get out of there.
Yeah, that was really close to actually losing that. I mean, I'm almost surprised they entirely 50-50'd instead of just looking to kill Barky, but obviously it worked out, so no harm done. I think the big thing I'm looking for here is this may be the last time Eclipse has a... I mean, not that their lead is gigantic in terms of items, it's more so gold and experience at the moment still, but this might be the last time that they have the true advantage with fire, not just having a fire until EFG. I would look for them to certainly get rid of that tier 2 in solo, but clean up the map and maybe look to see if you can kind of trap Sanctified into a fight again, just like we saw Trollacademy bait out in the previous fight that led to the Fire Giant. See if you can do that again. Why not? See what you can get off of this fire. Maybe even pressure out that Phoenix that BornToMeme got a couple taps on. Take the Pyro Bomb over there. Make something happen with this Fire Giant, because you have the advantage, but you won't for much longer if you don't do anything with it.
Definitely. The Trollacademy's done such a good job this game with just keeping the rest of Sanctified occupied with him, where they're all chasing him around, so that the rest of his team on Eclipse can kind of just field the rest of the map, kind of do whatever they need to do, take the towers, go for a pyro, a gold if need be. You know, Trollacademy's done such a great job at creating so much space for the rest of his team, and that's the biggest difference maker, almost in my opinion, of between this game and game 1.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time at this point figuring how Sanctified can get back in this game. They had to play off a misplay from Eclipse, and at the moment, I just don't foresee that happening.
Yeah, the way they're playing, it's been really, really solid, and they're really banking on a slip up where they're not giving them too much windows. Re-engage coming off from Nico is going to trap up BornToMeme. BornToMeme forced up with the airstrike with the Blades of Retribution. Also used Dark Pillars, does get dropped into the Windfire Wheels. Is MentalDepressed going to claim up Reyhum. Reyhum goes down, and that's the window they're looking for. It is go, go, go if you're Eclipse. And now forcing back is FullOfShrimp, super low, is going to be joined off, but Trollacademy finally catches up and does take him out. MentalDepressed giving himself a double kill as well, taking out King of Darkness. And now another beautiful sash from MentalDepressed. That's a triple kill for Mental. And that's going to be looking like that could be game. Going towards the Eclipse side. Titan finally gets pulled up and going big. Is MentalDepressed on the job? Final fight though. BornToMeme finally cleans up the last from barkyj. Call it a deicide and call it game. Eclipse is forcing this to game 3.
Pull another of your cigarettes out. Fuck, I always feel so burned out. I never never smoked before I met you. Now I chain smoke the way I like to kiss you. Cause I know you're with them while I'm here, staring at a red light. Stopped, windows down, cursing at the street side.
Alrighty, so game 2, Eclipse brings it back to make the set 1-1. And wow, they really just flipped the switch on that one, huh, Anthony? Really just a completely different, pretty much showing from game 1.
Yeah, I wish Eclipse would do that every single game. I mentioned at the very first game we saw them play, which MentalDepressed ran the ECookieNamedJoe jungle in, that when they play kind of confident, kind of cocky, with a swagger, it feels like a different team. And their mechanical skill shows. And when their mechanical skill shows, they're able to really make the best use of themselves. And we saw it there. That last fight felt like when a godlike team is in an uneven matchup. It was completely different. It was beautifully executed. And if Eclipse can do that consistently, for not only just for a game 3 scenario, but if they can do that consistently for the rest of the season, Eclipse could go from being one of the lower looking teams at the start to being a potential playoff contender, if not a favorite.
Yeah, I agree. I think they played some really good Smite right there. I think we saw a really clean play coming from Eclipse, and it looked great. Trollacadimy looked super strong on this Guan Yu. Basically, I'd almost argue he looked unkillable on this Guan Yu. He was able to
For sure
take a bunch of 1v3s, 1v4s by himself and wait for what felt like maybe another 20 or 30 seconds for the rest of his team to show up, and then they could finally win the fight. But Trollacademy just felt like he was able to just handle them on his own. And then, you know, MentalDepressed had a great game. He didn't even look like the same jungler he looked like in game 1. With that ends triple kill on the Najah to end off the game, really a really good way to top it off for MentalDepressed.
Yeah, I think you definitely said it best. I guess for me, going into game 3, the biggest thing I'm looking for from Sanctified is you've now figured out that the strength of Eclipse is if you can let them play comfortably. So you got to look to take away the comfort. I wouldn't be surprised to see them try to corner MentalDepressed into a character he's less comfortable on, try to control what pick that BornToMeme gets on, and then really just take control of what Eclipse is bringing out. I think if they can do that and they can get back on their own terms, they're looking good. But for Eclipse, I think they can take this momentum and look to just run the same type of composition back and look to take it home.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that's all we got. So all those questions will be answered in game 3 of Eclipse and Sanctified. We will see you guys shortly.
Drink to cope, it's an issue, okay. New Year's Day, so now it's a new me. Tell me why I'm so fucking lonely. I don't know why you won't love me the same. Drive into the night, I miss you sleeping. Where did you go? As soft as you're breathing, you left me alone, and I miss the late nights. So where did you go? Cause you were my safe ride, now I drive alone. I miss you sleeping, as soft as you're breathing, you left me alone. I miss the late nights, cause you were my safe ride, now I drive alone. I miss you sleeping, where did you go? As soft as you're breathing, you left me alone, and I miss the late nights. So where did you go? could get drunk off the lights of the city. Late night phone calls just to say you miss me, but you don't. No, you don't. Drop my phone now, that shit's broken. 2 a.m. and I'm lost in Brooklyn, missing home. I know you don't. When we were on, I'd always thought we would make it, but now you're gone. Baby, you're a ghost. I'm caught up in a landslide, mental on the low end. When I used to feel alive, now there's a hole in the city, can't feel shit. Where do I go? Cause I know you don't feel this. Can't catch a break for God's sakes. Feel like I'm waking up and I'm caught in the wake. Yeah, I know this is my funeral on parade. I did it to myself cause I always thought you would feel the same, and I know you don't. Drunk off the lights of the city, late night phone calls just to say you miss me, but you don't. No, you don't. Drop my phone now, that shit's broken. 2 a.m. and I'm lost in Brooklyn, missing home. I know you don't. Let's hit the brakes. I'm pulling out the parachute, jumping out the plane. You had it all in front of you, nothing feels the same. It's crazy what love can do, even crazier when it's not coming back to you. You say you need space, so I gave you all the states. Every night a different place. Used to think we're getting close, and now we're drifting away. And all I can say is
Alrighty, welcome back, everyone. We are back for Game 3 with Eclipse versus Sanctified. Once again, my name is Zexous, and I'm joined by someone new this for Game 3. It is a JeeringLamb.
I'm no Anthony, but I'm here to make some noise. Even though I'm just a loaf of bread, I'm not going to be loafing around. Let's get into this.
And get into this we shall. Game 2, we saw a resurgence in Eclipse, and we're going to see if they can come out here with the momentum they have given themselves to take a Game 3 and take the set. The only difference now is CaT is their sub in mid has been subbed out for CubeDaFace.
CubeDaFace is a name that's been around for quite a while. Maybe not in SDL quite as long, but definitely seen him around the community. He knows what he's doing in mid lane, so if he's coming to make a statement, better watch out, because he knows what he's talking about.
And he's got one game to do it here. Looking in the picks and bans so far in our phase 1, lots of similar bans we've seen coming on the side of Eclipse, but more targeted going towards after game 2, coming from Sanctified, as we're seeing Najah and Guan Yu taken completely off the board.
Little bit of a turnaround. We see on Eclipse's side 3 mages being banned out, whereas on the other side we've got 2 assassins and a warrior. Like you said, very targeted, but will it be enough to really slow down the roll? Because you got to keep in mind, there's still a lot of picks open right now. Things like Thor, things like Soul, those are still up for grabs.
Definitely. The Agni and the Merlin, definitely very strong mid picks. Hades actually taken away from Nicodrin after going off with it in game 1 in the solo lane. So makes sense why they would take that away from him, as both teams are playing out who they want to select in this first pick phase.
Definitely considering their options. There's a lot of really powerful picks. I was just about to say Ishtar is still open, but will they be able to respond with something just as potent? We still have Rama open. All of the magical ADCs are on the board if they chose that. We still have somebody like Maui, very potent Guardian right now. And as I mentioned earlier, there's still Thor open for grabs. Thor has been quite high impact lately.
Definitely. I'm interested to see how BornToMeme is going to pile off this Ishtar, because we've only seen FullOfShrimp pile the Ishtar so far this set. So seeing how he can combat into that is going to be interesting against no less than an Oleron.
Absolutely. FullOfShrimp is absolutely full of himself. Not having that Ishtar is going to be a little bit of a switch up, but I don't think Oleron is bad at all. I think that's actually going to be really helpful in this matchup.
Definitely. Really strong ultimate too, come for that late game team fight. As well, we're seeing a Tiamat that's going to follow suit with it, and then an Achilles going to be on the side of Eclipse to answer the call.
looks to me like Eclipse is really favoring some early pressure. They might try and get that snowball going a little bit early compared to these late game characters that we're seeing on the other side. Oleron and Tiamat may not have the most impact in the early stages of the game, but once it starts hitting late team fights, they can absolutely put you down.
Definitely. And that's what I'm curious to see, is if the rest of the Eclipse draft will actually follow suit to go for this win before they can do damage kind of scenario here, as we're going to revisit the Ganesha for a cookie named Joe. Went absolutely off on it last game. Lots of clutch um pillars. So I'm interested to see if he's gonna do it again and see how he does.
It'll definitely be an interesting matchup. There's the Maui that I was talking about earlier. These are two very potent Guardians right now. We saw Genetics absolutely hog wild with that Maui, and I don't think I need to speak for the man when I say Maui ults can really change a team fight. But you gotta keep in mind, that's Ganesh. Those Dharmic Pillars will solo you if you're not careful.
I agree with you there. We saw Maui picked up in game 1, and we saw lots of 2-3-man landfalls. And if it's anything like we saw in game 1, I wouldn't be shocked to see it again, coming off of King of Darkness, who piloted the Maui very well.
Yeah, like you said, there's a reason that he is called the king, because nobody's coming for that crown. Those are some pretty sick Maui pulls. But we'll see how will it go in the bottom 2 picks as the final bans are starting to come out. Yu Hong and Kleena as the first 2. What do you think about those?
Yu Hong, I don't necessarily hate it. This is actually the same team that played Yu Hong last game and actually had a strong showing on it. Lots pretty good damage output coming from it, but a little bit. But I assume they just don't want to see it picked up by Eclipse, so that makes sense. The Kleena is a little bit interesting. We actually haven't seen Kleena this set yet, so I think they're just scared of that sneak attack option, so they just want to get rid of the idea that that could be a thing.
Maybe keeping an eye out for that early pressure, as we also see Eclipse gets rid of the Thor. 2 very strong assassins right now. They can both play jungle or solo if they needed to, and Achilles already locked in. But a good counter pickup could call in very, very strong in the early game. Very potent solo laner right now.
Definitely. I like the idea of taking up this Kakulin, even though the Thor did get banned out, so Nico won't be able to revisit it for this game. But I do like the idea of getting rid of that Thor. It was a pretty decently big problem last game for Eclipse, so not having to worry about it this game will be a completely different thing. As Susano pick up, a very strong pickup for MentalDepressed. I've seen him play this god a few times as well, and if he's been practicing it like he said he would, then I expect big things coming out here.
He came to make it rain, and when it starts raining, you better watch out for the storm that's coming, because that is going to absolutely tear you down. And I love this final pickup. So if there's any character in the game that you could think of as a very strong burst god, Scylla is absolutely somebody you're going to think of first.
Definitely. And I love the Scylla pickup because there's so much to work with the Scylla with. Lots of control over target locations, where really keeping those big big spaces really kept small for the I'm a Monster and Crush combo. And I think that's going to be a big pickup for Eclipse here.
You also got to keep in mind the Achilles can zone out anybody who gets low in health, so they're forced to run away. The Dharmic Pillars from Ganesh can really zone somebody in. Either they stand there and avoid the damage and just take it from somebody else, or they try to escape, get slowed to Kingdom Come, and Scylla can absolutely send you packing to home.
Yep, I agree. And at this point, you may as well almost look at that I'm a Monster as a second execute at this point, with all the damage that this team brings from Eclipse.
Absolutely.
If that Scylla isn't the last thing you see, it'll be pretty darn close.
I think this is probably about the best thing they could pick up in this situation, a Ravana, trying to just survive all of these engagements. The extra immunity from the kit, both from that overhead kick and the Mystic Rush, That's a lot of ability to stay in those fights while surviving those big bursts that they can really push out on you.
Yep, and we're going to see how that all comes into action, because with all the picks locked in, we are ready to go for Game 3 of Eclipse and Sanctified Field. Or Sanctified.
I could get drunk off the lights of a city. Late night phone calls just to say you miss me, but you don't. No, you don't. Drop my phone now, that shit's broken. 2 a.m. and I'm lost in Brooklyn, missing home. I know you don't. When we were on, I'd always thought we would make it, but now you're gone. Baby, you're a ghost. I'm caught up in a landslide, mental on the low end. When I used to feel alive, now there's a hole in the city, can't feel shit. Where do I go? Cause I know you don't feel this. Can't catch a break for God's sakes. Feel like I'm waking up and I'm caught in the wake. Yeah, I know this is my funeral on parade. I did it to myself cause I always thought you would feel the same, and I know you don't. Drunk off the lights of a city, late night phone calls just to say you miss me, but you don't. No, you don't. Drop my phone now, that shit's broken. 2 a.m. and I'm lost in Brooklyn, missing home. I know you don't. Let's hit the brakes. I'm pulling out the parachute, jumping out the plane. You had it all in front of you, nothing feels the same. It's crazy what love can do, even crazier when it's not coming back to you. You say you need space, so I gave you all the states. Every night a different place. Used to think we're getting closer, now we're drifting away. And all I can say is that I'm feeling wasted. I could get drunk off the lights of a city. Late night phone calls just to say you miss me, but you don't. No, you don't. Drop my phone now, that shit's broken. 2 a.m. and I'm lost in Brooklyn, missing home. I know you don't. When we were on, I always thought we would make it. Now you're gone.
Alrighty, guys, we are back for Game 3 to find out who is going to be the winner-take-all of this set between Eclipse and Sanctified. Once again, my name is Zexous, joined by JeeringLamb.
Let's get ready to rumble as we go into game number 3. Will the new mid laner for this Divine Eclipse team be able to crush the competition as Scylla, or will Sanctified return the favor with the Sanctified Fields?
Yeah, can't wait. Pain.
Wow. Okay.
Early on, blink to CubeDaFace coming from barkyj is going to force out the teleport back under tower. And Blink already expended off of barkyj on the Ravana, so good to get that off, and the Scylla will heal up slowly but surely. As looking towards the dual lane, we once again have seen BornToMeme controlling most of the aggression in this lane.
As to be expected from an Ishtar, but another thing to watch out for, we see from barkyj no actives on either side. No Blink, no Claw Shard. Both of those are down for the Sanctified jungler. His next rotations are going to be just a little bit slower.
Yeah, that's going to be a little tough. It seemed like he was banking a lot on getting off that first kill right there onto Cube, and not getting that kill might put a little shard in his plan. So we'll see if he's able to keep up the pressure without that shard or the blink off of this Robin.
Looking like a little bit of a rotation, trying to get some early pressure onto the shield buff in dual lane.
A lot of good damage coming off of King of Darkness too. BornToMeme does sniff him out, but King of Darkness will get safely under tower. No big deal. Dash did get used, and a masterful fisherman gets him on the hook. BornToMeme is in trouble, and BornToMeme is dead. FullOfShrimp claims up the first blood with the Oleron. And now the rest of Eclipse is on the run. King of Darkness looking to see if he can maybe try and get a hook on Joe. Does get it. FullOfShrimp, just a little out of space though, as he can't fill that gap.
That's going to be a huge early lead for the Sanctified duo lane. FullOfShrimp is going to be feeling full of. He's now up a 1-0-0 start. To other ADC is 0-1-0. That early lead coming real handy for that Oleron.
Yeah, definitely. And it's definitely not a bad start to get your ADC ahead early, as FullOfShrimp comes up big on the Oleron. And Sanctified finds an early lead for now, but let's see how Eclipse can combat the early pressure.
They do certainly have a comp that's really good at getting some of that early pressure. So will that early kill force the Ishtar to back up against this early lane Oleron, or will it be enough to put the hands of Sanctified as the driver's seat?
Definitely. MentalDepressed falling a little under half, so he's going to have to give barkyj a little bit of space there. We'll do just that. BornToMeme ticking over the 4 as the dual lane of Sanctified does enter into the jungle to claim up their purple buff, and that's going to be all there is to it.
I have to be careful about the solo lane, though. The Eclipse side running a masterclass on how not to play Trollacadimy. I'm just kidding. He's doing quite fine. Both of them level 5. A good Spear of Mortal Pain to immune the stun. Nikudrin finally getting the transform and takes over to level 6 before his opponent.
Yeah, definitely. But Trollacademy, I think, is looking to get real aggressive here. Gets the stun off. We'll look for the one, but won't be good enough for the execute. So Trollacademy will drop that, as well as Nico, who has dropped the secondary ult in the beast form too. So no harm, no foul, no exchange. They'll back up and return to base.
Got to keep in mind, now that he's returning with that teleport, Nikudrin does have Glad Shield up before Trollacademy. That's going to be a lot of extra damage that he's going to have to watch out for.
Definitely. Nico's looking to stop that too, to try and keep that little advantage as long as he can. Trollacademy is going to go walk up to the wave. Has to be a little bit wary though, as he's playing a little bit a downfall with the unfinished item.
Yeah, neither the solo or the duo lane has a full finished item for the Eclipse side. The Sanctified team holding on to gold just a little bit longer to try and finish up that tier 3. Will it be enough, or will that extra gold that's still in their pocket and not in the items make a little bit of a difference?
Definitely. Not too bad so far, as everyone's just quietly farming right now. I do see a little difference in support builds though, as we see the Prophetic Cloak finished off by King of Darkness, as see CookieNamedJoe maybe going a different route.
Looks like Cookie is going around for that Thebes traditional start. Instead of getting that first item Prophetic Cloak, it'll take a while to end up building that, but normally we only see one or the other getting built. So a little bit of variation between those two. We'll just have to see, will it be enough of a difference to give one or the other an advantage?
We'll have to find out, as Trollacademy might be baiting a fight here to see if MentalDepressed can maybe try and get a gank off of Nico, but Trollacademy does decide to, or Mental decides to go back and pick up that blue buff for his old pal. And that'll be it. Looking towards mid. Just a little bit of grouping, but no breakouts quite yet.
It'll be important to watch. Now both of the ADCs have their tier 3 items, as there's a big scuffle in mid.
Oh, MentalDepressed though gets stuck in between 3, and Reyhum is going to clean him up.
Unfortunately, that Typhoon will not be enough to get him out. He will end up dropping the ultimate and getting dropped in return.
Definitely. And that's going to be a tough sight to see for an early game Susanna, who's really looking to ride the high to the late game to really dump out tons of damage for that one-shot potential. Unfortunately, doesn't get it. Knock up King of Darkness. Probably CookieNamedJoe will get followed suit by a stun. CubeDaFace is on the prowl, though. Does a nice bit of damage to Reyhum with a little help from Joe as well.
Reyhum's going to need to be careful. Just entered that fight and already at a quarter HP. Forced to back very early. Going to be losing a lot of minion XP.
Definitely. Luckily, he does have his those Tiamat minions to save him a little bit of time, but are gonna look towards just controlling a lot of these left to right harpies.
Mid harpies are always a good thing to have. A little bit of extra farm that your opponent doesn't have can always go good.
Yep, definitely. And here come Eclipse. Sanctified Field is getting dropped into the Typhoon, but won't be good enough to get rid of barkyj as barkyj cleans up MentalDepressed. Now FullOfShrimp forced to play back, but now could be King of Darkness in trouble, but luckily not. Is able to get the jump away to safety, and the only thing they're staring down the eyes of is the elephant named Cookie.
That's going to be a beautiful kill for Sanctified. Only having to use Sanctified Fields to pick up one more kill, that's not going to feel great for MentalDepressed on the other side. 0-2 and 0. Eclipse not looking quite as strong in this early game.
Yeah, definitely not the start they want. I think a few picks early game have really put a damper in their plan. But if they can rally up and group around the mid to late, I think they can still pull this back. We have seen them do it before, so if they can do it again, I think they'll be looking good coming out of the set with a 2-1.
Definitely would be a great feeling, but right now, Sanctified, at least a half level up in all the roles. Eclipse is going to have to be very careful and just make sure they're really reading the situation before they decide to make some big plays here.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. And towards mid, just pretty much chilling it up. It seems to be the game. The name of the game for Game 3 is a little bit of what we haven't seen in Game 1 or 2, where both teams are kind of just chilling, farming up, and playing it super safe and cautiously, not wanting to make any mistakes early on to cost them the game. CubeDaFace gets pulled up, but manages just to escape the landfall. Now, this Scylla will live on for another day.
I think it's also important to note that's going to be a very good matchup for ACookieNamedJoe.
Trollacademy in a little bit of trouble though. Does get walked at into barkyj, forced to ult out, so will at least save his life, unfortunately, but might lose a little bit of farm in the meantime, as these bastions are going to get worked on by Nico.
Transformation is going to add a lot of damage to that. But going back to what I was saying earlier, ACookieNamedJoe has a great matchup in the support role, being able to silence out the Masterful Fisherman, and also being knock-up immune to that landfall. King of Darkness is not going to have a fun time trying to pull ACookieNamedJoe into anything.
Yeah, it's going to be real tough for him to do anything against this Ganesh. Really being able to silence everything this Maui wants to do, and that's going to be the difference maker, at least on this support pick for Eclipse.
Will definitely be a nice feeling for Eclipse, where they don't have too much of an advantage right now. It's at least one good thing that they have going for them. So they'll just have to be careful around the rest of the map.
Definitely. Sanctified surging down mid is going to try and find something on Cube, but Cube isn't going to let him. Dark Pillars does get dropped. Reyhum taking a boatload of damage. I'm a monster coming out looking for Reyhum. Will not find him, but will at least make him have to retreat back into the jungle. Now ACookieNamedJoe might be in a little bit of trouble. Does decide to take up King of Darkness. Blink coming in from MentalDepressed. Finds a bit of damage, but won't be enough to seal the deal. Landfall coming up. Does pick up the Scylla, but nothing else comes after it. So she just gets to teleport away. No big deal.
A lot of ultimates will be dropped, but no health bars will drop too low. At least they have a little bit to survive on.
A little bit to survive on for now, as CubeDaFace still incredibly low in the jungle. We're going to have to be a little bit careful the way they want to take out this. It's a little bit more damage dealt off to the Pyro. Reyhum's around, though, is going to suck the Tornado onto ACookieNamedJoe, but Eclipse is finally going to secure off this Pyromancer.
Very, very risky play. CubeDaFace lunged directly into that Umutaputu. Reyhum almost picking up an unintentional kill.
Yeah, but lucky enough, had enough health in the pool to keep himself alive, and that's all you can really ask for. Couple of bomb picked up by MentalDepressed on the Susano, so we'll have the bomb for good use for now, but that's all there's going to be to it. I do like the idea of what King of Darkness built here in the second item slot, this Oni's Hunter's Garb, because he's going to be around a lot of people early on in these early fights, so why not get that passive stacked as best as you can? And it's a cheap item too, so never a bad idea.
Definitely going to come in handy. Having both that Scylla and the Ganesh, it's a lot of damage mitigated.
Definitely, and a really good understanding. Here goes, CubeDaFace might be in trouble. Dark Pillars dropped. I'm a Monster follows suit, deals quite a bit of damage, at least to get them to respect the damage off of Eclipse, and CubeDaFace will get to survive. So a very nice follow-up play coming from CubeDaFace to help his support out.
Some great synergy coming out from the mid and support here. Really getting caught out in a bad situation, 3-on-1, but luckily that 2-on-3 ends up being enough to force them to back off, and Sanctified not going to be able to get anything out of it.
Definitely. I know you were talking about supports you usually either buy Thieves or Prophetic Cloak, but we see a CubeDaFace finishing off the Prophetic Cloak after the Gauntlet of Thieves.
Going for a little bit of that double stacking, just trying to be extra supportive of his teammates.
Definitely. BornToMeme dropping the Blades of Retribution will claim off the beads from Shrimp, but won't be enough after that. MentalDepressed also shows up, does some damage, but also not enough to get the kill, but will be good enough to at least drop the health bar a little bit. Luckily for Shrimp, he's got a little bit of health lifesteal already in that build, so.
FullOfShrimp does not have beads as they're looking for even more engage onto him.
Definitely going to have to be a little bit careful as the rest of Sanctified is joining this, but lots of damage coming out. Sanctified Fields does get dropped off by Shrimp into the back, and now here comes CubeDaFace going in. Landfall brought up. I'm a Monster gets used up next. Is going to try and find one. Doesn't find any. Now King of Darkness is in between a rock and a hard place. Gets stunned out. And now MentalDepressed will finally claim up the Maui. That's going to be a 2-for-0 onto the side of Eclipse. And now the Gold Fury is going to be looked at.
Beautiful turnaround from Eclipse going into that team fight. They knew he did have beads and caught FullOfShrimp out, but Sanctified not willing to give up the Gold Fury that easily.
Unfortunately, we won't have much to say about it. A little bit hard to out-secure Scylla, and that's just going to be the case as the Crush will be able to secure off the Gold Fury.
Eclipse getting a great turnaround. They used to be 0-3 on the kills board, but now it's 2-3. They're definitely feeling a lot better after that team fight, and they got the objective to make that gold lead that is Sanctified had only about 300 now.
Definitely. And it really just doesn't even... It basically still feels neck and neck at this point. Even almost 15 minutes into the game. A lot's happened, but also at the same time, you kind of feel like not a lot's happened, you know?
A lot of scuffling and a lot of words thrown out, but so far, no real big swings have been made. So you gotta be careful. There's definitely some tension in the air. Neither side's gonna back down from a fight, but they're not willing to swing first either.
Definitely. It's going to be a one-team fight decides the entire match from what it feels like here with how late they're going here. You know, starting to enter in the mid game, and where a lot of these fights will shape up the rest of the game. I'm interested to see if they're gonna take the bait or if they're just gonna try and play it chill until we get to that late game to decide the game.
Looks like Sanctified getting a little bit aggressive, trying to make some extra space so that they can pull this Pyromancer. But Eclipse recognizes where they are. They know not to just give it up.
Definitely. Sanctified also around as Nicodrin does find CubeDaFace, and we'll make him back up just a little bit. Pyromancer finally does get picked up by Sanctified. And Eclipse does know what they're at. I'm a Monster goes. Typhoon also summoned out and is going to be claimed up by Eclipse. Completely stolen up by the boys in blue. And now CubeDaFace is going to get chased down by Nicodrin. But MentalDepressed does sniff him out as well. Going to get the transformation, though. Looking for a bunch of damage. Surging forward. Misses the ground pound, though. But in the back, Trollacademy picks up barkyj. And now Nicodrin isn't able to find anything for all of his work.
Not only did Eclipse steal away that Pyromancer, they also picked up the bomb for CookieNamedJoe. They also got one kill out of it. That's a 0-for-1 and an objective. Eclipse really turning that lead Sanctified had on its head, and even now taking the lead of the goal.
A look in the back. Trollacademy walks through that. Kremis gets a double stun just to show that he's still around and he's still ready to go. Basically almost full HP on this Achilles, and really just gonna be able to push him back. We saw this on the Guan Yu last game where he was willing to take a lot of these 1v3 engages, really just trying to keep the rest of Sanctified at bay. And to see him do it again, I am not shocked to see it.
He certainly made his presence known, and he's not willing to let that up anytime soon, as we see 1-0-0. Even though he lost a little bit of that early pressure in the solo lane, he's not feeling worse for wear at all. In fact, turning that lead onto his own XP bar, now 16, while his opponent Nicodrin is only just now ticking over to 16.
Yep, just ticked over 16. I do see just finishing off that spectral armor too. Trying a little bit worried about the crits coming out from BornToMeme later on this Ishtar. So
we'll have to be very careful as we see Eclipse really starting to take control of that lead and pushing it just a little bit further. Sanctified have not been able to get a kill in quite some time. Almost 10 minutes now since they got their last good engagement.
Yeah, definitely. And BornToMeme looking for a little bit of poke damage on the FullOfShrimp. We'll find a little bit, but not going to push too hard. He is aware that a good chunk of Sanctified is also around, as might see some grouping around this Oni Fury coming soon. And BornToMeme looking around and does see a good couple of Sanctified members gathering around, looking to maybe force a fight here. But CubeDaFace is also around with MentalDepressed, so.
It's important to note, Sanctified have a lot of wards around this area, whereas Eclipse has most of their wards up by the mid lane walkway and next to green buff. So Eclipse doesn't have quite as much information as Sanctified, even though they do have the oracles. Neither side is going to be able to pull this Gold Fury very easily.
Yeah, not without a fight at that. Yeah, they're really starting to really get up there in levels with 17 on both the ADCs. Only a matter of time before everyone gets to that max. Dharmic Pillars does get dropped. Sanctified Field will follow suit. Typhoon is also going to go onto the back end. They're going to find a little bit of damage both on FullOfShrimp and King of Darkness. Blink coming in off of Trollacademy. Landfall is going to scoop him up, and that's going to keep FullOfShrimp away from him. And now back to Gold Fury, though, is Eclipse. I'm a Monster comes out looking for it, and Eclipse does secure off the Gold Fury. And that's going to push back Sanctified as they are going to surge into the jungle looking for some damage. Big damage coming out, and here comes the Blades of Retribution. And MentalDepressed is going to claim up Reyhum. Running back under tower is going to be barkyj, but Fatal Strike is going to secure off Nicodrin as well. That's another kill coming for Trollacademy. This Achilles is a force to be reckoned with.
That's a beautiful turnaround from Eclipse. They were able to zone out perfectly with Trollacademy diving deep, and that's going to be a good great secure coming out from CubeDaFace. Eclipse feeling themselves a lot in the lead after that fight. Gold lead now bordering on 2,000. They're going to go for the Pyromancer just to keep the ball rolling.
May as well keep it going. May as well also grab a bomb on top of that too if you can. And now they see that they might still have some time if they want to try and pull fire. Another 6 seconds still down on Nicodrin. So they are acknowledging they do have the 5v4 advantage at this point. Fire Giant is getting looked at, just getting to around 0.5% dead now, and finally is going to get sniffed up. But let's see if Sanctified can answer the call quick enough, as he is getting Typhoon, does get launched. Eclipse does secure off the Fire Giant, and with that they might look for a little bit more on the Sanctified. King of Darkness is completely by himself, gets pulled back by MentalDepressed, but will get out. Fatal Strike does get expanded, trying to catch up to barkyj. Very low on this revival, but just barely manages to escape. And here comes the Dharmic Pillars drop, and will claim up FullOfShrimp. Credit goes to MentalDepressed. Still going down mid lane. Double knockup coming from Nicodrin, and is still getting walked down as they're finally going to rechange their direction to this T2 in mid lane. Finally regrouping down to mid Phoenix. Gets walked in, but doesn't look like they're going to get ready to commit to it just yet. I think they found all they're looking for, and I think they're ready to try and reset there and look towards other opportunities.
Eclipse recognizing they don't have quite enough pressure to take the Phoenix just yet. It's going to be a smart and safe call to go ahead and just scoop up the remainder of those towers to make their next siege even that much easier. All that extra gold that's going to be in their pockets that they can spend on those items really going to make the next difference. As we see 2.5 minutes left on Gold Fury timer, they're going to be able to secure these objectives left and right. Sanctified now on the back foot. really got to be careful about anywhere they try and step up.
Definitely. And Eclipse is showing that they are very much not done. Still taking that T1 on and solo side. Now looking towards the T2. But Sanctified, I don't think they're willing to let this go just for free.
Definitely stepping up to try and make something happen, but unfortunately, they just don't have quite enough space. All they can really do is just poke and hope that tower does a lot of damage to Trollacademy, taking about a third of his HP bar.
Yeah, he's been looking another strong showing game from Trollacademy. I mean, game 2, he looked incredible, but game 3, he's really just back into the same form as what he was last game, and you can really see it here. 2-0-2 on this Achilles, and just doesn't look like he's giving Sanctified anything to work with.
It's also worth noting, MentalDepressed turning it around a lot too. He used to be 0-2, but now he's 3-2. He's on a killing spree, and MentalDepressed is not slowing that down anytime soon.
It definitely has also looked good on this Susano pick. Had a rough start coming out early to no regard. He did get picked out a few times early, got caught, and wasn't really able to do anything towards that, but has done great. And CubeDaFace going for a nice little solo kill on FullOfShrimp, and that all run is completely dusted as this T1 tower in duo side just completely falls. No harm, no foul. As now they are looking for this T2 to really just keep adding more and more gold to their pockets. And it looks like Sanctified doesn't really have a choice. They have to let this one go. Almost going up to 8k gold ahead on Eclipse, and they are just looking even stronger than they were game 2.
They said be there or be square. The Eclipse main laner said, that's fine, I'll be on their backline. Scoops up a free solo kill, and that's going to end up being 2 towers and a Gold Fury on the side of Eclipse. Now, they have about 30 seconds to get their butts back over to Pyromancer, secure the next Fire Giant, and just be an unstoppable force rolling down whatever lane they decide is looking at them funny.
That's the case. All towers down on the side of Sanctified, so they really can only play Phoenix defense at this point. And if you add another Fire Giant to the equation, it's only going to be worse for wear if you're Sanctified. It already feels like they're having trouble dealing with what Eclipse can put at them. Now adding a Fire Giant buff with more power and a whole lot more health regen too. I think it's going to be tough for Sanctified to deal with.
Might see a pick early on in this fight.
Right onto the Mystic Rush right away from barkyj. I'm a Monster comes out, but Typhoon is going to shred him to bits. BornToMeme claims up the kill. And now stuck in between a rock and some Dharmic Pillars is going to be Nico. And Nico's going to get dropped by MentalDepressed. Now King of Darkness is going to get dropped by BornToMeme. Make that a double kill for the Ishtar. Make it a triple kill for the Ishtar. Reyhum goes down as well. And that's 3 for the Ishtar. And they are walking down, looking towards that Phoenix.
That will be 3 for free. BornToMeme coming out strong in this team fight. Already now level 20. That is an unstoppable force of retribution on those blades and those arrows. Absolutely making a statement tonight. Eclipse single-handedly winning that fight 0 for 4. That's going to be a mid-Phoenix down. They don't even need the Fire Giant.
Definitely not, but ItsKatt is pretty low, so we'll have to back. And barkyj just respawning now. The other 2 members of Sanctified also coming up in less than 10 seconds too. So they will be able to have one last chance at a defense here. But they're going to have to make it a good one because Eclipse is out and they're swinging with full fury.
They are absolutely swinging. They're going to back up, secure the Pyromancer, reset their health bars because they are a little bit low, and get ready for this Fire Giant. Sanctified still down in both gold and XP. And most importantly, they're missing some items. Meanwhile, Eclipse is finishing up almost the rest of their builds, just a couple T2 items left. But Sanctified is still missing a whole item on every slot.
Yeah, it's getting pretty tough right now for Sanctified, almost looking towards the belly of 12k gold down. So that's a whole lot of money to be down if we're coming into the 26-minute mark.
Can we get an F in chat for my boy King of Darkness, level 13 at this point in the game? Somebody get this man some farm.
Trying hard though. Fire Giant picked up Typhoon, will be expended by MentalDepressed to claim up that Fire Giant. Fire Giant will go down onto the side of Eclipse, and now Trollacademy wants to have a little bit of fun, asking to see if Sanctified would like to come out and play. As ultimately they decided not the case. They're going to head back under Phoenix for now. But here they are, surging forward is Eclipse, going in, looking at this right side Phoenix here, seeing if they can. Landfall comes up, brings up 2 from King of Darkness. Knock up as well coming from Miko. Sanctified Fields will cut him close, but I'm a Monster doesn't claim any. Trollacademy finds one. MentalDepressed is going to claim one for himself. King of Darkness right into the back is super low, is going to have to retreat, but Blink coming in from MentalDepressed is going to pick up King of Darkness. Very beautiful play coming off this Susano, and this Phoenix is going to melt like no tomorrow. 2 Phoenixes down. Trollacademy going to call for the recall, but lucky for him, it looks like he has a teleport in the back pocket.
Eclipse dropping that right bird like it's hot, and now Sanctified, their base is cracked wide open. Eclipse going in for the kill on the Titan.
That's it. Eclipse wants it. Eclipse is calling game, and that's what they're going to do. Typhoon goes up. It's going to knock 2 up. This Titan is falling low. BornToMeme claims up 1. Doesn't look like there might be any much more, but this Titan doesn't really care. It falls, and Eclipse is going to take the set 2-1.
I could get drunk off the lights of a city. Late night phone calls just to say you miss me, but you don't. No, you don't. Drop my phone now, that shit's broken. 2 a.m. and I'm lost in Brooklyn, missing home. I know you don't.
Alrighty, so Game 3 concluded. What a tear from Eclipse. They were really on a mission Game 3 to end it quick, end it fast, and be as clean as possible while doing it. And I honestly have to say they succeeded. They played great coming out off the gate. Yeah, BornToMeme looked great late game. Trollacademy, another force to be reckoned with, didn't let them do anything that they were wanting them to do. And MentalDepressed was on the revenge tour ever since Game 1 and had a great showing on this Susano, looking great on 6-2, and was really able to be a big factor for his team in cleaning up the win.
A big shout out to Eclipse. They really did not start that game the way that they wanted to. They ended up being 0-3 on the kills board, but after that, they didn't let a single member fall after that. MentalDepressed went from 0-2 to 6-2. BornToMeme 0-1 to 4-1. Eclipse may not have had the fastest of starts, but they got that snowball made, and they let it roll down that hill and just kept going, really showing they're here to make some money.
They are here to make some money, and that's what they're willing to do. And hopefully they can continue this going into their next week match, and hopefully they can continue this momentum going.
Big game for them. That's going to be a great win. Well fought set. Neither side willing to back down, but Eclipse will end up taking it 2-1 over Team Sanctified, and that will be a fantastic set to watch. I hope everybody enjoys that one as much as I did.
And definitely, I think that does it all for us here. So on behalf of me, JeeringLamb, and our cameraman production, INooblet, we thank you all for tuning in, and we bid you all a good night. Thank you all for watching.